you have something of mine. Because now I got something of yours.
Breaker 19.
I'll be at the Lone Star Motel.
What room?
Room 17.
We had a little incident here last night. Convicted for staying in room 17. It's just y'all, clean off.
You pathetic, lonely freak show.
You really should get that fixed.
Get what fixed?
That tail light. Who's the pretty girl? Room 17.
I can't wait.
This is awesome!
Sexy choice. Vintage 1971.
Hey there, this is Candy Cane. Who's this?
Rusty Nail.
I can't believe this is happening.
Candy cane. You can call me Rusty Nail. Goldilocks.
Yes, y'all, it's going down right now. Episode 239 of the Triple Shots of Moodz and Horror podcast is coming at you live and direct with the homie I call the Mexicant, also known as JP. And back in the house once again, Mr. Parker, also known as Dave. And of course, I be your host, Moodz, also known as the Toxic Offender. I can't talk. Gia, how's it going, guys? Fuck, whatever. Fuck it.
Tox dick. You're tox dick.
I'm the tox dick. Okay, I'm fumbling my words, whatever.
Tox dick.
I've said it a million times. Everybody knows I'm the toxic offender, so fuck, whatever.
I bet if we make Moodz feel worse about fucking that last little sentence up, it'll make us restart the show.
Oh, man, I'm just... yeah. That's it. Fuck it. I'm doing it. I'm doing it.
No, don't restart it. No.
I'm fucking restarting. That's it.
He's a fucking perfect. Don't restart it. Who gives a shit?
Nah, nobody gives a shit. Nobody listens to the intro anyways.
It sucked when you had those long ass intros that were all like elaborate and pre-written, and then like somebody would fuck it up, and be like, "Oh,
you mean fuck it up?"
God, it was
trying to be not.
Well, I mean, that was the reason why I stopped doing them. That's why I just started talking. I wasn't even doing yes, y'all. I was like, "Fuck this! I'm not doing this shit anymore, man." So fuck it. You're gonna interrupt my ass? Fuck it. So,
dude, I'd be so pissed off. Anybody that's never memorized lines has no fucking idea. If somebody keeps fucking up your lines, you're like, especially in a movie, just like, dude, what the fuck?
Right, exactly.
Because especially if it's a good take.
Episode 239, the Joyride Trilogy. Yes, something that we don't really cover a lot on here is like road horror films. It's a subgenre of film that I've always enjoyed. I know JP, you're a big fan of it also. Dave, what is your consensus on the road horror genre?
I mean, there's not that many movies from it, but there's obviously some ones that stand out, like The Hitcher. I mean, come on, who doesn't like The Hitcher? But like, what's very strange is there any really franchises of road horror movies except this? This is also kind of a time frame of we don't really. Yeah, there is three of those.
There is three of those.
We don't cover any movies from this time frame typically either. Early 2000. This franchise is all over the place. What 2001,
8, and
2008, and 4. That's ridiculous.
Well, actually, Phantasm kind of morphed into a road franchise after the first one.
It did kind of, yeah.
I wouldn't call it road
Part 2, 3, 4, and 5 are road horror films, I'd say.
They're more. There's a lot of driving, but like even if you look at Bones and All, it's not a road horror. It's like it's kind of what would you call it? Like it is kind of a road horror.
It's like a traveling coming of age.
It's like a fucking travel vlog.
Yeah.
I don't know. To me, like what if most of the film is traveling, if that's part of the story, I usually consider it road horror.
Well, I mean, Freeway would be considered road horror. Freeway 1 and 2. Right? Yeah. Freeway was great. Freeway's got to be one of the best ones.
I know. I just rewatched Freeway, man. And it's like
it's been years.
It's like one of those things that like, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I love this Reese Witherspoon movie.
It's so gross, too. That movie's really kind of disgusting.
She's really good in it though, too. I mean, this is like big time famous Reese Witherspoon too. Kind of like the pre years, and she took some kind of more risky roles. Like she even shows her boobs in that movie too.
There's a lot of good actresses and actors that are good. They just do a bunch of movies you don't give a fuck about, so you don't really pay attention. I was like Matthew McConaughey for the longest time. I was never watching his movies, and then he just started picking like really good roles, and you're like, oh, this dude's the shit. But I would have never known.
Matthew McConaughey did some really good movies in the 90s, and then he became like that romantic.
Yeah,
he started taking like a bunch of those romantic comedy roles, and then he came back and started doing some indie films. I remember when he did Mud and stuff like that, and there were some good ones.
Killer Joe. Like
those were movies that he did kind of back to back or whatever, and those were both really good. And I was like, oh shit, man, Matthew McConaughey's back. He's really really good in those. Yeah. Yeah, man. So the Joyride trilogy, and you're probably right, man. There's not really a lot of road horror franchises because like you said, they just don't make a lot of these. This is a very strange franchise, like we just said. Like the first one came out in 2001, was obviously a decent budgeted film with some notable actors in it and stuff, and it did well at the box office. I know it made a bunch of money and
pretty
stuff.
professional looking movie too. Good thriller horror movie.
Yeah, and
solid shit.
Which always surprised me, and I'm pretty sure that me and JP have talked about this before, and then they didn't do the sequel, which was actually the sequel did get a minor theatrical release, I believe.
They put that shit in theaters, bro?
Yeah, it was in the theater, and then it did decent too, but the sequel didn't come out until 7 years later, which I always thought was odd, because usually when a movie does well in the cinema, they try to pump out
I'll tell you exactly why, bro. Here's why, right? Because in 2004, a little movie called Saw was released.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, everybody was like, we need to capitalize on this success of horror that's really hot right now. Let's make our own Saw. Well,
Saw was in 2004? Are you sure?
Yeah.
No way.
It was 2004, yeah.
No.
What
so next year will be the 20th anniversary.
I don't know. I thought it came out earlier.
No. It's 2004, yeah.
And so by this point, 2008, we were balls deep in Saw mania, right in the middle. I think Saw 4 or 5 was out, and
because they were making one every year.
How much it influenced? Yeah, because they made a Saw every year up until Saw 7.
Right.
But you could see how much this was also pre Paranormal Activity. I think Paranormal Activity actually came out in 2008, I believe, and because that's what eventually moved horror in a different direction was Paranormal Activity. But at the time, if you look at films that were coming out between like 2005 and 8, everything had shades of Saw in it. Mm-hmm. It's insane how much all these studios were like, instead of just creating a new film, they're like, well, we have this IP in Joyride. Let's just make that type of movie with our already existing IP, so we'll get a little bit of carryover with people who enjoyed the first one that was only 7 years ago or whatever, but we'll make it more like Saw. Everybody was doing that.
It's just strange though, man, because like I said, Joyride 2001, and you're talking about the Saw boom in 4. I mean, really, they should have made the sequel before that. They kind of missed the ball on it. I mean, just riding off the success of Joyride and stuff. It had big names and people. I remember people talking about Joyride, really enjoyed it and stuff. And to make a sequel 7 years later is pretty unusual. And dead ahead, it did get a minor theatrical release. It did okay, and then again,
played in a couple trailer parks.
Yeah, a couple trailer parks, and then oddly enough, they made a sequel 6 years later, which went straight to DVD, but did fucking phenomenal on the media market. Which I'm quite surprised that they never did a fourth one, because media it made a few $1 million, I think.
This was back when DVD was still popping too.
They did make a porn parody.
Did they really?
Called Boy Ride. You can see a gay porn parody called Boy Ride. Instead of Dead Ahead, it's like Give Me Head, Boy Ride. Boy Ride 2, Give Me Head.
Dude, that's awesome. Yeah. But yeah, what a spaced out franchise. Like 3 movies in like 13 years. That's crazy. Very strange. But
so the thing is with the that time period too, dude, media was like still like this was at the time where you released something unrated and everybody bought, like, remember just seeing unrated everywhere in like Walmart and stuff with all these movies.
Yeah,
that was still like a big selling point. Right?
Oh, big time.
Slap unrated in red on the cover.
Joyride, it's weird though, because Joyride, the first one has a Blu-ray, the third one has a Blu-ray, and the second one just has a DVD release, which was weird because it was theatrical. You think it would have gotten a Blu-ray release instead of just a strictly DVD one. So it's kind of an odd franchise to collect a little bit, but
yeah, that is weird. I don't even own the second one. I have the first one and the third one.
I have all 3 of them. I watched the Joyride that just came out on Netflix because it was the high def.
I don't even know if I have any of them.
Yeah, so I just have all 3 on DVD, but yeah.
Do you guys have a road horror list? to go through or no?
Yeah, I do.
There's
actually.
one here.
Well, let me before we get into that, let me just say something that I saw yesterday on
Dave,
on
I do
Twitter,
have a top
actually.
10 horror list.
Okay.
Wait, real quick. Where's the list from?
Nightmare on Film Street.
Okay, we'll just go with that one. All right.
Yeah, I haven't gone through it, so I just
That's
I've been on this website before, and I really like the name of the Nightmare on Film Street. So, and it's like top 10 road horror, and I haven't even scrolled down. So, yeah, it'll work, I think.
So I was I was on Twitter, which I'm barely ever on Twitter, but I was just on there, and I saw that like Universal Pictures, the Twitter page or whatever, Twitter, what do they call that, a page? I don't even know, handle, but they posted a thing of John Carpenter's The Thing, like a gif of the scene where the chest opens up and stuff like that.
Norris,
and they literally put CGI could never, and then like a camera emoji, and then The Thing, and then that gif, and then people were just roasting them, and it was hilarious, because the funny thing about that, right, is
the remake, the prequel,
right? But did you know that in the prequel, I remember this coming out at the time.
I did know this history of it.
Yeah, so it was practical effects. They did the whole movie with practical effects, and then they thought that new audiences wouldn't like get or be.
Well, we talked about this when we reviewed the movie, right?
Right. Yeah. This is a few years ago at this point, but they actually covered all the practical effects with CGI. So there's a version out there that has the practical effects, I assume. Yeah. And then there's the version where they just covered it all.
They probably never got to complete all their practicals 100%. I mean,
Probably
that movie's not awful. Even with the practical effects, it still doesn't hold a flamethrower to the original thing, just because the acting's not as good, the characters aren't as interesting, the score's not as good. But it does. Nothing is as good. Nothing is as good. Not even close.
I think the end of the movie is really good.
Job, though.
I think
it's still a decent
the
movie.
best thing that they did with the Thing prequel is make all the connections to the original, like with the axe in the door, like you find out how that got there and stuff.
It's not
like
a bad
that.
movie. I'd give it like a 7 out of 10.
They actually did a really good job with that. I love how the movie ends and it leads right into like the original Thing with the dogs and shit. Like that's really cool how they did that. But yeah, like all the little anecdotes for the axe and like all those other kind of certain things that fill in the holes and stuff. I think they did a good job with it. It's just too bad that we never got the version with the practicals. I think it would be a lot more respected. I think people see that CG and they're like, oh my God. Like it does take you out of it though. It really does, But
the one thing is those guys, after they were so upset about it, the special effects artists on there, they went and made their own movie, Harbinger Down or whatever the fuck it was, Harbinger or whatever. And that movie's trash. Yeah. Like I
really,
that's why I like, it's bad. Like, yeah, it's good special effects, but like they should have hired a writer because they're obviously special effects artists and they're not like Stan Winston.
I can't even remember
somebody
the
else to
narrative.
write it. It's bad.
I can't even
it's just
remember
shitty. Like the writing, the dialogue, the characters, it's all piss poor because these guys are probably so hyper focused on the special effects. It's like, bro, this is like the main character keeps like, and it's boring. Like they keep calling like Lance Hendrickson, it's her dad. She's like, pop, 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 like every 5 minutes. She's like, pop, pop. I'm like, fucking blow my brains out.
Yeah.
Sucked.
Yeah, it was obviously very forgettable because I've seen it and I can't even remember it.
Here's one of the replies to remember that time you made a big budget prequel to The Thing, and then after filming like the practical effects would keep younger audiences from seeing it, painted all over them with trash CGI that ruined the film and destroyed the director's vision.
Yeah,
dude, so they're just like all these people were just going after Universal so hard for this one tweet.
But I mean, how many movies have you ever heard where they filmed, the effects practical and then covered it up with shitty CG? Like, name me another movie that happened to. Like, that's fucked.
Yeah, it's so weird.
It's like an anomaly. It's totally an anomaly.
It would keep, because younger generations in 2011, like 15, 16-year-olds, which, by the way, I don't even think could get into the movie because it's a fucking R-rated movie. So, but would go anyway. Your idea, they're so used to seeing CGI that if they didn't see like this glossy bullshit, it would like turn them off of the movie. Like, what the fuck are you talking about, bro?
Like the polar opposite for us. That is fucked.
So weird.
Yeah, it is weird.
Is that the news? That's it?
Well, that wasn't even news. That was just fucking.
That was just funny.
Funny.
That is funny.
But no, I saw this news also that Moodz is gonna love this. That
Scream 7
Jennifer
already in
Love Hewitt and
post-production
Freddie
as well.
Prince Jr. is returning for another I Know What You Did Last Summer movie.
Oh, just because Scream was so popular?
Yes!
Oh my god, that's so bad. That's so
I'm
bad.
down.
So they're
Fuck
making
you.
a fourth one?
Fuck you.
That's like
dude.
brilliant.
So it's going to be a sequel to the original one then, like an actual sequel.
Well, I assume fucking so.
Because
Well,
the second one actually wasn't really, it was just a name and only sequel,
Can't
right?
wait.
No.
for,
The
Urban
the
Legend
second
4.
sequel, you mean?
Yeah.
Because part 2 followed the same character.
I can't remember.
that part
We reviewed these movies. I can't remember them. Oh, yeah, right. The third one has nothing to do with anything, right?
Yeah, it has to do with it became a legend. You know what I mean? Like,
Right. Yeah, it's been a minute.
Breaking news: Nev Campbell actually signed on to be in this movie to get revenge on the Scream producers.
Shut up, dude. I don't care. Scream fucking 6 looks.
Yeah, she
fucking
actually plays the
awesome.
villain. She's actually the killer, and I Know What You Did Last Summer Part 4.
Can I watch Scream 6 without watching Scream 4 and 5? Can I get away with that?
Hell no, bro. What the fuck is wrong with you?
It's gonna go in and be confused. Like,
They're
who's that?
literally
I'm just
brought
gonna ask
back
random
characters from
I'm-
Scream
I'm-
4, bro.
I'm gonna start asking people in the theater, like, "Who's that?" They're like, "That's Ghostface." Like, yeah, he looks familiar. I don't.
I would
recognize
definitely
him.
watch Scream 5 before watching Scream 6 for sure, just for
Even-
one of the
you have
characters
to
being
watch
eliminated.
Scream 4 too, bro. Because
Yeah,
like,
and
there's
Then
literally characters
I've
coming
watched.
back
I haven't
from
watched
4.
Scream 3 in forever. I just remember hating Scream 3 with a passion.
It's bad. It is bad, though.
No,
Scream
Scream
3 is the
3
worst.
is not very good. But I like it, but I mean,
It's still
I
poorly
get
written.
it.
It's a bad movie, man.
It is
I
bad.
remember it's so shitty.
I don't think it's bad, but
It's
I
bad.
mean, I watched Patrick Still Lives last night. That's bad.
No, that movie.
Scream
That's
fucking-
good bad.
Nah,
That fucking kill scene in the
Dude.
vagina.
the
Come
vagina.
on,
that's
bro.
the best scene in the whole fucking 90-minute
Dude, there's
movie.
so much sleaze in that movie and just audacity and fucking shameless garbage
Dude,
that it's worth
that
watching
movie
over fucking
is-
Scream 3.
sleaze at its finest, man. It's so crazy the director was dating that chick that he did that to at the time. She was the mom in Burial Grounds. Like, it's fucking just the sleaziest shit ever, man. Oh my god, that shit's fun.
It's fun. I've seen it before, but it's
Yeah.
just like
It took me back because it took me years to actually check it out, and I finally watched it, and I was like, why haven't I watched this like 12 times? This shit is
That's got to
amazingly
be one of
bad.
the most shameless ripoffs of all time because it's like an unofficial sequel.
Yeah, and it was just so. I'd always heard that it was like really sleazy and stuff, but I was like, you know what? There's lots of these type of movies that are sleazy, and I watched it. I was like, damn, that really was sleazy.
Yeah, it was really trashy. It was like crossing the line sleazy.
Yeah. Okay,
I think we're officially getting to the point where the 90s is the nostalgia era, not the 80s anymore.
It is. Actually, I just read an article on that the other day of them talking about how the 90s is probably going to be the last nostalgic decade that we have because the 2000s suck so bad that
I don't know.
nobody
I'm
even
starting
cares.
to get nostalgic for the 2000s after watching Joyride, bro.
Yeah.
Fucking all the needle drops in it.
2000. It's funny. Even some of the fashion, it still kind of feels like the 90s at times when you look
It
at the
does.
fashion and
It
shit.
does.
So
And it's
not very
funny,
removed.
like too, that like through the 3 movies, it's like the first one, it's like no cell phone, and then by the last one, it's like, oh, we're complete cell phone territory here.
Yeah,
like, 2001 was like not everybody had cell phones in 2001.
No,
You know what I
flip
mean?
phones.
yeah, well, even in 2008, I don't even think the smartphones were out yet. Were they in 2008?
Yeah, I think
No.
they just were starting, right?
They were brand new. I think people still were rocking Blackberries at the time where you had to press the button 3 times to get to your right letter and stuff. And that was fucking annoying. But yeah, you're right though. By the third one, it's like 14 smartphones. Yeah, fuck.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna do this top 10 road horror films according to Nightmare on Film Street.
Isn't that a podcast?
Yeah, it is. It is Nightmare on Film Street podcast.com. So NOFS.
Oh yeah, I
podcast.com.
listened to them recently for their end of the year.
They
list,
good?
I think. No,
Okay, so
no, I'm just kidding.
What do you
I
mean?
don't-
No, how bad was their list?
it's
I
literally
don't
the first.
remember, dude.
So I typed in. I didn't expect to find too many lists of top 10 road horror. It just doesn't really seem to be that popular.
I
as
saw a
subgenre.
list of 42.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
saw a ranker list, and I saw
Yeah, so I've got that other one on here too. So Nightmare on Film
Let's just
Street,
do this
according to them, their top 10. So travel at your own risk. Top 10.
Okay, let me think
road
here.
trip.
Just give me 1 second. Okay, I have my list.
Top 10 road trip horror movies to watch before ignoring that creepy gas station attendant.
Okay, road trip horror is different than road horror to me.
No,
right?
road, whatever.
Well, no, because TCM is like a road trip, but like I wouldn't consider that road horror.
No, but I mean, it depends.
What about road head horror?
Yeah.
Now, road head horror is like the sequel to Headless.
Yeah.
Whatever. Okay, so it's
more high tension
road. Okay.
Let's just do head fucking. Let's do a head fucking episode. Headless, header, and fucking something else.
Well, there's
scene. Another one too.
There's got to be an Edmund Kemper movie somewhere.
Somebody wanted us to do something recently. Who's the guy that did Bone Sickness?
Brian Palm. We can call the head fucking episode the triple header though.
we should just do a Brian Palm episode.
No, somebody commented on our Patreon and said that they wanted us to do that.
Well, I want to do Fetus, and
they said Fetus was one of the titles.
Cryptic Plasm, fucking
Cryptic Plasm and Fetus. I don't want to do Bone Sickness.
Bone Sickness. I like.
That's the only one I own.
I've actually reviewed all of his movies in the past before, but they're always fun.
I would give Bone Sickness another try though. I don't like that one as much as the other two.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's see this road horror.
Blood Pigs. I like that one too.
Blood Pigs is really good too. Yeah. Okay, so according to Nightmare on Film Street, top 10 road horror, number 10. Well, go figure. Joyride, 2001.
It's a good one. It really is a good road horror.
That's just random. That's actually number 10. That's crazy.
I mean, if it's not on your top 10, I mean, what are you even doing?
Right.
I don't know if it'd be on my top 10, but I would have to look and see what's out there.
Yeah,
there's a lot of good road movies. Dole, fucking what the car, fucking Phantasm 2.
Yeah, see, like I said, it depends on how you define this, right?
I want the car to be a serious issue with it. That's what I want to do.
Like there's Duel. Like Duel is like road horror because there's there's a lot of like chase scenes and like actual things that are happening on the fucking road.
I mean, The Hitcher's got to be everybody's number one.
Right. Again, that's
not
like
road
that's
trip
actual,
not Dave Z.
Yeah, The Hitcher is on the road, and there's a lot of
Dave Z's number
action.
one. Dave Z. The Hitcher would not make Dave Z's top 10 road horror films.
He hates it.
Dude, it was such bullshit. I remember he's like, "Oh, this movie."
Dude, everybody gets like that sometimes. They get these weird hang-ups and they just don't like it. But then they just
Dave
don't
Z
know.
went and hate wanting to not like it. I'm telling you, I'll stand by that to this
How
day.
do you hate The Hitcher? I don't get it. Like, Rutger Hauer is the most perfectly casted villain ever in that movie.
Because he said there's too much bullshit going on in the
Jennifer
first 10
Jason
minutes.
Lee has one of the most memorable death scenes I've ever you could ever
Dave Z
remember.
said he didn't believe the consistency of the French fries in the diner scene. He took them out of the movie.
Yeah, I mean that doesn't make.
I made that up.
How did French fries take you out of the movie? How did French fries take you
Shut
out?
up! These French fries, they jumped the shark. They jumped the shark. There's way too much ketchup on that plate.
Yeah, like anybody would have these fucking curly fries.
Dave Z's probably listening to this like pissed off because
no, he said I can't remember what he said, but it was something with character. Like he thought the character was too dumb. Which
it's the beginning, like the first 10 minutes where he picks him up and the whole way that thing goes down. He just says it was really unrealistic and nobody would or the character kept making dumb decisions over and over again, and he just is out of it.
That happened with that one movie that came out a couple years ago. It was on Shudder. It was like a Scandinavian road horror movie where like this guy was tracking like the family, and he had like a pesticide. That was one of the worst movies I watched that year because it was just so dumb.
Fucking pesticide? Where'd that come
from? I'm glad I forgot that movie. Sucked.
I know which one I watched it too.
It's the worst movie I've seen. It was so bad that year. It was just so dumb.
All right,
Husband was so dumb.
So number 9, also from 2001, Jeepers Creepers.
Oh, that's a good one, actually. I totally forgot. Both of those are road horror movies.
Yeah.
I haven't watched that in years.
Like I said, it depends on how you classify. But yeah, that one fits in. So number 9, oddly enough, from
definitely.
2001.
A lot of the... What's that?
You never did that. We never did the Jeepers Creepers.
No, there's 4 now.
Yeah, there's...
I know, we have to watch the 3rd and 4th one.
You know what's funny? I saw someone talking about the new Jeepers Creepers the other day, and they said it was like one of the worst films they've seen in the last few years.
Yeah, Jeremy told me it was the worst film he ever seen in the theater.
And then
I want to see Fat Creeper when he gained all that weight.
I actually didn't mind.
Bro, on my downtime, the McRib came back. I couldn't help it.
Is there no scenes of boys taking leaks in the new one? That's why it sucks so bad, or what? Like, That's what makes the second one
It
so
wasn't
good.
done.
Is there
This
no
newest one
obvious
wasn't done by.
pedophilia?
You gotta pull over an entire bus and have like 30 fucking males whip down their pants and take a leak. Like, come on, man. Like, fuck.
It's gonna be like that scene in Last American Virgin where everybody's like, "Let's measure each other's dicks."
Yeah, that movie's awesome.
Why is that scene 45 minutes? That scene took 45 minutes in the new Jeepers Creepers. It was half the runtime.
But then on the flip side, I was watching another video and the guy's like, yeah, this new Jeepers Creepers movie is actually pretty good. I actually enjoyed it way more than the third one. And I was like,
no, see the third one. Listen, the third one.
I didn't see the third one.
It literally is what like he wanted to do, but with fucking no money. Like, because you can see that the story has been in, like, he had planned this story for years and years and years and years. So the script is actually not bad. It's just that it has no fucking money. It feels cheap. It looks cheap. Bad CGI, bad acting.
Yeah.
So it's like you could tell that he wasn't backed by a major studio with the third one, but just kind of did it on his own.
Right.
And
it was weird that they had to roll the creeper out in like a wheelbarrow for half his scenes too. She gained so much weight.
What? Did he gain weight?
I know there was a joke that they were calling him like Fat Creeper
in the newest one,
the third one, or I don't remember which one. But
I
you guys remember when Orlando Bloom came back for The Hobbit and he was all bloated with sodium?
I haven't actually
seen The Hobbit.
Yeah.
I've never seen
the third Hobbit. The third Hobbit movie. I mean, he got older, but like they're still putting him in the same outfit.
Hobbit movie.
That is really funny. Actually,
the first one was really good, and the third one was unwatchable. It was so fucking bad.
The first one was really good, man.
It was, and then like because Del Toro had a big hand in it, and then like the second one, I was like, this isn't very good, and then the third one, I was like, this is unwatchable.
Yeah, no.
I heard that what is their show, like a Lord of the Rings show? I heard that sucks.
Yeah,
Amazon or something.
Netflix only could buy a fucking small country for what they spent on it.
I think it was Prime, right? Wasn't it?
It was billions, bro. It was billions. They spent billions on that show.
You know,
they could have cured world. Really does not surprise.
They could have cured world. They could have got like fucking cured like world hunger, but they're like, we got Lord of the Rings, baby.
Did you know there's people that like walk the like actual like physical distance that is supposed to be in like the Lord of the Rings, the first one?
Oh my god, that is so ridiculous.
Because they're like big fans and shit. Like it's like a actual, because I guess it's like in New Zealand or something, right?
Really?
Yeah.
They like take this giant journey and just walk it.
Do they make a pit stop at movies for a burger and talk about Lord of the Rings? And...
Dude, that scene is my favorite scene in like.
Oh my god, dude! It makes me laugh every time, man. So.
And which one? Clerks too?
Yeah, Clerks too.
Yeah.
The movie
about it.
He's like, there's only one trilogy, man. It ain't Return of the King. It's of the Jedi.
Yeah.
Dude, I love that shit. Let's do Kevin Smith show. Fuck Joyride.
All right, so number 8 is The Hitcher from '86.
What? What the fuck?
I know. I'm like, how's the Hitcher at number? Okay, now this is
first I was thinking, okay, maybe they're talking about the remake or something.
Nope. That is the original from '86. Okay, so number 7. See, now this is where this
is a list Dave Z can get behind.
Yeah, so this is literally making no sense to me, because having this at number 7, which is, higher on the list, I guess, or lower on the list, which I don't know. My consensus on this one is, I fucking hate the ending, but The Houses October build 2014.
Oh, I didn't watch it, but I was
I like
built?
it. It's a good movie.
I thought the ending.
I turned
was trash.
it off. I think.
Yeah, I thought the ending kind of fucking
looked like shit.
It's no Hitcher, but
I was in a bad mood when I watched it. I just couldn't get into it.
It's
like very interesting that this one would be, a little bit higher on the list. It's crazy. So I don't know if these are. I mean, they're numbered. I don't know if this is like an official ranking or they just.
It has to be. I hate when people make a list and they don't rank it.
Yeah. Okay. So number 6 is Chainsaw from '74.
What?
I wouldn't call it a road horror, but if it's a road trip horror movie, yes.
Okay. So this is a mixed bag. So there's road horror films. There's road trip horrors. Okay.
I mean,
it does have road horror elements for sure, but
any list that TCM is on, it should be number 1, unless it's like best films made in Pittsburgh. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
right. Okay, so number 5 is House of a Thousand Corpses from 2003.
90% of that movie doesn't even take place on the road.
Right. So they're on a road. They're on the premise of the
trip.
They're on a road trip doing the roadside attractions.
Yeah.
Okay. So number 4 again, I mean, this is definitely road trip kind of thing. The Hills Have Eyes from 77. They're quite obviously on a family trip that doesn't.
That one is more road horror, I guess.
I would call that road horror because they're in a fucking RV and they get stranded. And
yeah.
I mean, they
Good
do.
movie,
They stop at the gas station. Yeah, there's that that scene. And
wait, is this the remake of Hills?
no, it's 77.
Okay.
both are good. I love that scene in the original when he's like he killed his mother. He goes that big like exposition dump is like the scariest part of the whole film because he builds up Jupiter. It's fucking scary as shit.
Like just his
so big he's
torn apart. Like, dude, fucking
that guy's got that big ugly alcoholic nose.
Yeah, dude. Oh man,
looking like a fucking that Muppet with the horns for ears.
Now, right now, here's one I love, and I think we all probably just recently watched it, anyways, at least for the show, the top 10 show that we did. But number 3 is Highway to Hell from 1991.
Yeah, that's
it's a fun movie.
A good one.
It's
not better than the fucking Hitcher. I'll tell you that.
No,
I mean, like
it's super fun. I mean, this list makes no sense. Okay, number 2. What the fuck? It's so fucking random. All right, Uncle Peckerhead from 2020.
I love Uncle Peckerhead,
but
why is it
number 2? Uncle Peckerhead made me laugh like a bunch of times. It was really funny, actually.
The part when he's all like, they're talking about like, you live in a van. He's like, this world of capitalism got me. He goes that big speech. I almost cried, dude.
Yeah.
No, Peckerhead's great, dude. It almost made my top 10 of that year.
Yeah, it was very enjoyable, actually. It just kind of caught me off guard, man. I had to check it out. I didn't know anything about it, but I was like, a movie called Uncle Peckerhead. Yeah, sign me up.
Remember when he gives his name? He's like, your name is not Uncle Peckerhead.
Yeah.
Your name is Uncle Peckerhead. Your name is not Uncle Peckerhead.
Yeah, it was so much better than I was anticipating it to be.
Me too.
It was pretty clever, actually. And in the number 1, we've got High Tension from 2003.
Is it? I never even watched Duel, but that's a very popular one. That's a huge blind spot for me. Duel.
Yeah, and you know what? That's
you never
on
seen fucking Duel?
Only seen parts of it on TV as a kid.
How is Duel not on this? Like, even if like, man,
yeah, Duel is definitely a top 10 road horror.
How is Road Games not on this list? Isn't that a popular one?
Yeah, but actually, I'm not like the biggest fan of Road Games.
I'm not sure if I've seen that one.
Is that's Jamie Lee Curtis
and Stacy Keach? Yeah.
Road Game?
No, they're missing.
It's
stuff.
Okay.
They're missing shit.
Road Games it should be a lot better than it is.
Yeah, I think it gets a love because Jamie Lee.
Yeah, it's Jamie Lee Curtis.
and Richard Franklin's a pretty semi well-liked director too. Right?
Yeah, he's done some good stuff. And Stacy Keach, man, he's always good in everything.
Yeah, Stacy's the best.
Keach is fun.
So
that'd be a good choice for a favorite actor, Stacy Keach. I think
we can make a better top 10 list than that.
Okay, but Joyride, Hitcher, Duel. Even though I haven't seen it, I hear so many good things.
Duel's amazing. Like Spielberg, that was Spielberg before he was Spielberg, so he was able to make a movie like that and stuff. So, but it's good though, man. Like when you talk about like road horror and you talk about like chases with rigs and cars, like it's got it all. It's very intense. It's very very suspenseful and shot really well for early Spielberg. So I had this other list here.
Dead End is a good one.
Yeah, that's road.
Oh, Dead End. Yeah,
that's definitely road horror.
It's not on there. That sucks.
I'm really surprised Duel isn't though. I'm really shocked that Duel isn't on that list because that's kind of like the big one that you really think about. Well, at least I do, anyway.
So this ranker list. Do you want me to go down the ranker list real quick?
If you want, I had this other one here by Creepy Cat.
Yeah, but what about Maximum Overdicks?
Rankers voted by the fans.
Yeah, it's like a fan thing.
Yeah, but isn't it just taking like the most popular movies from like IMDb and just putting them?
But what happens is the people rate them and rank them themselves, so they can upvote and downvote shit.
Oh, okay.
And right now, The Hitcher is number 1,
as it should be.
Mm-hmm.
Then Wrong Turn, Jeepers Creepers. You got this list or something else?
I have this one from Creepy Catalog. It's not actually technically. It just says 45 road trip horror movies. So
Wolf Creek wasn't even on their fucking list. Wolf Creek wasn't on their list.
There's actually a couple on that last top 10 list that definitely were not on there that I would consider. And there's like a big one from the 70s, and it's probably on this list. There's 45 on this list, but I could just kind of rip through these quickly. I don't know if I
let's run down
anything from Creepy Catalog, man. Okay, so 45, and we'll just actually this first one on the list here is a film I know is released by Kino on Blu-ray, and I've never seen it. I've wanted to actually check this out. And it's called The Hitchhiker from 1953. Have you ever seen this one, Dave?
That's the Ida
This
Lupino.
this
movie,
is in
right?
this is in
Ida Lupino did that. Yeah, I never seen it. It's supposed to be good.
this is in chronological order, I assume.
No, I don't. Maybe. Oh, maybe it is actually. Shit, just based on okay. So it's like it's dubbed as like a crime film noir hitchhiker. Very kind of dark.
Is Arthur Kennedy in that? Who's in that? Who's the actor? Who's the bad guys in that?
Dude, actually, Mass Murder Billy Cook is.
They had House of 1,000, but not Devil's Rejects.
Yeah,
I just
don't
remembered that.
Yeah,
From Dusk Till Dawn, bro.
This might even be that's
Count
probably
that?
why it's not ranked kind of thing. But it's okay. The next one says Psycho 1960, which I guess some of the movies takes place on the road.
Nah.
Night of the Living Dead
just where
68.
she's running away, which is a
What?
pretty scary part.
Dude, I don't understand how Psycho and Night of the Living Dead are. This Night of the Living Dead's a fucking siege movie.
But
They're in
then
a fucking bar. There's only 5
It's
minutes.
literally the opposite of
yeah,
Road.
right.
They're
Dude,
stuck
what
in a
is
house.
this?
So then it goes into Duel from 71. So that's right.
Okay.
So Duel.
Well,
then you
okay,
got
but this is Road Trip, right? Because they were on a road trip to the cemetery, kind of.
right. So then after that goes 74 Chainsaw. And then, okay, so this is the one I was thinking of that I was surprised wasn't on the last list because it's very much road horror. And that's Race with the Devil from 75.
Oh, that's
Never
a great
seen
movie.
it, actually.
Dude,
The tagline's the best, dude.
it's
If you're racing with
phenomenal.
the devil, you better make sure you're faster than hell.
Like the ending to this movie is
That is a
fantastic,
good
man. It's a
feeling.
great suspenseful actual road horror film that has a great ending too, man. It's
And
fantastic.
it's got arguably the greatest character actor of all time in Warren Oates in it.
Warren Oates is amazing in it. He's so good. So
He's
badass.
the
man.
best in everything, even in
Yeah.
small little roles. He's always steals the show.
Yeah. So that's one of the big ones I thought should have been on that last list. But 77's Hills Have Eyes. Then we got Tourist Trap from 1979, which
Great movie.
it's awesome.
Mhm.
Love that movie. Motel Hell from 1980. Okay.
Is that a road trip? They're on a fucking motorcycle and they fucking who knows where they're going.
Dude,
I don't think that should
I don't
count.
even like Motel Hell, dude.
You're wrong.
I do. Okay, Road Games from 81 we just mentioned. Death Valley from 1982, which I guess
That's actually a pretty fun one.
I mean that definitely falls into Children of the Corn, I guess, their original
That's a road trip movie.
they're driving, The Hitcher
Yeah.
from 86, Near Dark from 87.
That's on
Definitely
the road
road
a lot.
horror. Yeah, that's where I would consider that road
Yeah,
horror.
that's I never
Because they're
really
nomadic vampires throughout the
Right.
entire film.
Yeah, so that's
Mhm.
interesting. Conan Tate from 1988, which I've actually never seen before.
It's a horror movie that has Roy
I don't even
Scheider
know
and
what you
Adam
said.
Baldwin in it. Conan Tate. It's Roy Scheider and Adam Baldwin, right?
Yeah, I've never
Never seen it.
No.
I don't think it's horror. Though.
Oh, fuck, here's a good one, man. The Vanishing from 1988.
I've never seen it. Spoilos.
It's so
What
good.
year was that Conan's Tate movie?
Cohen and Tate. Cohen. Cohen and
It's
Tate.
more of a crime
1988.
film.
I thought you
Yeah.
were saying Conan's Taint.
Conan's
Conan's
Tate.
Tate.
Okay. 88's Vanishing. I think the director actually did the remake too, right? A couple years later.
Yeah, he did both. 93 is the remake, right?
Midnight Ride from 1990. I don't think
know
I've
it.
seen this one
Never heard of
either.
it.
It's got Michael Dudikoff is in it. Nice. Oh, and Mark Hamill's in it also. Cool. Highway to Hell from 1991. California
Good
from
choice.
93. Ooh, that's
I
a good
like
movie.
California. That's a fun one.
I
It's
never
more of a
watched it. I
thriller,
need to
but
see it though. So is a lot of these. have
definitely
been
a road.
thrillers.
Definitely
A lot of these
road
are
film,
thrillers.
though.
Yeah, and it's a good movie, man. Really, really good movie. It's kind of like Natural Born Killers in a sense.
I
Right?
hear that.
1990s road horror movies. Okay, so you got Misery and New Nightmare.
How
what
come-
the fuck?
Next
How
is
come we haven't seen Freeway yet?
okay
that
from
should
Dusk
be
Till
a-
Dawn. From Dusk Till Dawn, 1996.
Good one.
Breakdown 97. That's a good movie.
Yeah,
Boom.
right. They didn't have Freeway then. They didn't have Freeway on the list.
No Freeway, man. But yeah, this
Freeway is a
definitely
good one.
Definitely more of a thriller. But
I mean, Breakdown's 100% a thriller.
Oh, 100%. So Jeepers Creepers 2001, Joyride 2001, Say Yes from 2001. What the fuck is Say Yes?
I don't
Never
know
heard
it.
of that one.
Oh, it seems like it's South Korean thriller.
Don't
pick,
know
up
it.
pick up a hitchhiker and it goes crazy. Okay. Dead End from 2003, High Tension
one.
from 3, House of Thousand
Good
Corpses
one.
from 2003, Final Destination 2 from 2003.
Dude, I love Final Destination 2 so much. That movie's
What's the
so
fun one?
underrated, bro.
Wrong Turn from 2003.
So we were doing a lot of road shit back then.
Yeah. Wolf Creek from 2005, Rest Stop from 2006. Okay.
Actually, Rest Stop is like it's kind of stupid, but I kind of enjoy that one.
This Say Yes movie looks pretty good, by the way.
It's nothing like you would expect Road Stop to be. It turns into something completely different. I think
They
that's
call
what
it
I'm
a
thinking.
bloody remake of The Hitcher.
Crazy.
That Say Yes movie.
Death Proof from 2007. Well, it's definitely Cars on the Road.
Oh yeah, this car is 100% Death Proof.
The Hitcher from 2007. So
what about freeway, but we got that remake.
What about the Hitcher 2 from fucking 2003? Huh?
Yeah, Vacancy from 2007. Windchill from 2007. That's definitely road trip horror. I love Windchill, man. That's a good movie, man. With Emily Blunt. Good film. Splinter.
What about Fall Break?
I don't know if I've seen that one.
1984.
Yeah, I don't think
alternate name, The Mutilator.
Oh, Fall Break. I thought you were talking to me.
I'm fucking with you because they have that dumbass fucking song, Fall Break. They're going on a road trip.
Yeah,
all those slasher movies are road trips too. They're like, we're going into this cabin, the Evil Dead. I don't like the idea of the road trip.
Time. Yeah, road trip does not elicit the same feelings as road horror to me.
So. No, it's too fucking vague.
It is too vague. Yeah. Splinter from 2008. I mean, I think pretty much any movie that had someone in a vehicle, they're like, hey, we're going to put it on this list.
Dude, actually, Splinter is like pretty dope movie.
But there's like a lot of these movies have that element where they're on a trip and then shit goes bad, like The Human Centipede from 2009, The Cabin in the Woods from 2011, Crow's Nest from 2012.
No, if you're putting Cabin in the Woods on there, why don't we just put Evil Dead on there? Why don't we just put Friday the 13th part, like fucking whatever one they travel to the
right? Exactly.
This is they're not even understanding what they're getting. No. It just doesn't make any sense.
Crow's Nest from 2012. I did not like that movie. That movie sucked. The House is built. October built.
Literally, like 90% of horror movies are like going somewhere.
Road Games, 2015.
They managed to throw Night of Living fucking Dead on the list. 90% of the movies in a fucking farmhouse.
And I believe this actually isn't really a remake of Road Games either. Road Games from 2015. I think it's like totally different.
Bride of Chucky. That's one.
Southbound 2015. So we just brought that one up.
There's a lot of road driving in that one. Yeah.
Strangers Pray at Night, 2018. Alone, 2020.
Isn't that a home fucking like break-in house?
No, that's the first one.
The second one.
The sequel, they're kind of on a road trip.
Yeah, it does take place a lot of
trailer park.
Yeah. Alone from 2020. That movie was actually pretty good. No Exit from 2022.
Is that the one with the fucking stalker in the woods?
Yeah. Yeah, the guy that plays the fucking villain in that, man, he's so creepy looking, man.
It's well acted, but the script's really boring. It's well shot and well acted. That movie put me to sleep.
The Monster from 2016. I just thought of that one.
No Exit from 2022.
The Monster?
No Exit from 2022. I watched. That one. Yeah, it was okay.
The Monster's a good call because that movie is on the road the whole time. It's like they're trapped in the car.
Yeah, that's actually like straight up road horror. Yeah.
What about Cujo, bro? If they're trapped in a car the whole movie,
which just got announced for 4K.
Bones and All 2022, which we just mentioned, and of course that's the end of the list. So yeah, I mean that was definitely a vague type of list of road.
These people were fucking horror. Stupid, man.
Isn't the car one? Isn't the car one?
Yeah.
I mean, throw Maximum Overdrive on there too. Half that movie is actually driving.
Yeah.
See, my definition of like road horror is like, something like Duel, where you're literally
the Hitcher
in cars and you're like, you're fighting on the roads with vehicle. Like
Joyride 3 is road horror. That's big time road horror.
Yeah, exactly.
For me, it's like road horror just they need to be that needs to be like a primary part of the plot is them traveling on the
Race
road.
with the Devil is a quintessential road horror movie because there's a lot of chases. Yeah, I mean, like
Joyride 2 picks up on the actual road horror aspect of what the narrative of road horror should be. But yeah, the third one is like just straight up. So, but
and Death Proof is 100% road horror too.
Right. That's battling on the roads.
Definitely road. Yeah. Chainsaw Leatherface. What's the one? Leatherface? That's kind of a road horror movie.
I think there's like hundreds of movies that weren't mentioned that fall into this category that they just didn't put on a list.
Texas Chainsaw 2 has a great road horror scene in the opening.
Yeah.
But they kill the yuppies and the fucking that part's awesome.
The prequel one, that one's like a road horror movie, kind of, right?
Yeah, but they're not driving; they're mostly running.
Still on the road, bro.
Well, then fucking what about that movie from 1970 and Soon the Darkness where they're riding on a bike the whole fucking movie? Isn't that road horror?
Kind of.
I feel like road horror has to be a vehicle, like a car or a truck. To me, it does
not. That's just car horror, bro.
Stop. These are all fake subgenres at this point.
No, they're not. Killer
That's
car
grasshopper
movies.
horror, man.
Let's
Let's
just face
grasshopper.
it.
The Quatermass in the Pit is grasshopper horror.
Let's face it, man.
That's a new
The
subgenre.
term road horror is it can be very vague. Let's face it, because
Nah,
everyone's
I have a
definition is kind
definition
of.
of it.
I
and
mean, me
mine
too.
is right.
Well, and Soon the Darkness is definitely a road horror then.
I can't remember it enough to agree.
They are
This-
traveling.
They just ride bikes the whole movie.
They are traveling. I mean, they
Are
technically
they on
that's
the
their
road
job.
the whole time?
Yeah,
Is that like
yeah.
then it's road
That's-
horror, dog.
Yeah, because remember the
Fucking
one girl
hell.
pulls over on the side of the road and she's like, "Yo, I'm just gonna chill here," and then you know as a fan, you're like, "Well, that's not gonna go good."
I mean, the
That's a good
hitcher
movie,
is
man.
walking, bro.
Yeah,
Yeah, but they're in a car. He steals car.
yeah,
he's
but there's
hitching
there's
rides.
car duels in that movie, and like there's shit
Yeah.
going down in that. So yeah,
What
that's
about
what makes
movies
duels
where
so awesome.
killers use the like freeway and stuff? Like there's a lot of those too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about that Hitchhike to Hell? That exploitation movie. Doesn't he drive a lot in that? It's been a while since I watched that one.
Hitchhike to Hell.
He's like a serial killer. It's real
Mm,
sleazy. It's been a while.
Can't remember.
Yeah, I don't know if I can't remember it. But again, very vague. You could throw lots of shit into it. I mean, let's just face it. We just saw films that had scenes of driving that were on the list, like Psycho. I'd never considered Psycho to be a road trip.
No, that's a
Even-
road
even though
trip,
she
but she's
does
running.
rip
She's
the
not
money
even on
off.
a road trip.
The whole
She's
first
fucking
half of the movie is just a big MacGuffin.
She is on
Like,
a trip.
She steals some fucking money and then just drives to her death. Just what that is. So, yeah.
I mean, I guess it takes
Spoiler alert if you haven't seen
the
Psycho before.
motel is on the road, right? So I
Shut
maybe
up.
they're getting that. I'm just trying to think where they're coming from. I'm not,
Well, like, first 35 minutes of the movie is basically her driving to the hotel. So,
well, like
They do it
five
too
of those
big.
minutes.
maybe 5. You know what I mean? She's in a
I mean, the
car.
way-
What about Blair Witch Project? I mean, they drive to the location.
Okay, no,
I
this is
think
just getting stupid.
the way they did that, I think Phantasm 3 is 100% a road horror movie.
Well,
So
even
is
Phantasm
Phantasm
2 is
Yeah,
a
Phantasm
lot
Two
of
and
it's
three,
on
but
the road.
especially three, man. I
And
feel like they travel
and
even
four.
more.
Yeah.
Four,
I think
4 and 5.
These lists blow.
I brought up
These
that
lists
question
blow.
before about, I think it was Phantasm 3, like, because they do a lot of driving. You're like, how big is this world that it's set in? Like, it feels,
It is.
just so.
Dude,
it's
they've
weird.
been driving since part 2.
That's what I'm saying.
And they
It's
keep
like,
driving.
Tall
all the
man's
way up
already
to part
tall man's
5.
already eating Middle America way.
yeah.
Yeah, no,
Who's
like
the-
even part 5, they're still driving, bro.
Yeah, they do a lot of
They
driving.
just keep driving until there's no more road left. The tall man's
When
taking
there's
over.
no
everything.
more roads left on Earth, the road shall venture to hell.
We won't make a Phantasm 6. So,
Oh,
They're not gonna. Everybody's dead or dying.
yeah. It's
Who are they
unfortunate.
gonna recast? Who if they remade Phantasm? Would you guys cast John Malkovich as the tall man?
I would cast.
that's actually pretty good casting right there.
He's huge
Malkovich?
and he's tall.
And the thing about Malkovich, though, I
He's
actually
weird.
just said the other day, he's good in everything, man. Even in bad movies, he's the
You
best part
gotta
of
cast
everything.
the Abraham Lincoln looking motherfucker. That's what you got.
Yeah, he does. Have you ever seen him? He plays
No,
Lenny
I
in
don't
Up
know
Mice
who
and
that
Men.
is.
Who?
Oh.
John Malkovich?
Yeah. Dude,
How do you not
I'm
know
not
John
good
Malkovich
with
is?
actors.
John Malkovich is such a dope actor that like they made a whole movie called Being John Malkovich. It's
Oh,
fucking
really?
weird. It's a weird fucking movie, man. It's cool, man.
Mm,
It's awesome.
how old is he? 69.
Probably.
I was gonna say he's got to be in the 60s.
But you really think they're going to make a whole new franchise? If they do one Phantasm remake, it'll just be one and done.
Wait, who's he in Con Air?
He's Cyrus the Virus. He's the main bad guy.
Oh shit! Yeah, I know this guy.
He's great in that.
You've never seen Being John Malkovich? That movie's awesome.
No,
Pretty
I've
fucking
seen-
clever.
I've
huh?
seen fucking
no,
Con
that
Air,
was
though.
clever.
Dude, Con Air. Con Air.
I watched
literally
that movie
kicks
all day.
ass,
Let's just
bro.
review Con Air.
Con Air is
Sigh.
a complete dad movie.
I love it. Hey, Clarence, this guy's dead. This guy's dead. I
Man.
said all the time.
John Malkovich in the fucking Coens Brothers movie with Brad Pitt and shit. What the fuck's that one
Thank
called?
you for smoking.
No, not
Thank you for smoking.
No, not thank
That's
you
the
for
one he's
smoking.
in. Burn After Reading.
Burn After Reading. That's what I'm talking about. Man, his character in that movie is so fucking funny, man. He's the best. Dude, everyone's quirky in that film, but his character is just like
I don't think I've ever watched that one.
Oh, it's so funny, man. I love that movie.
He's also in Shadow of the Vampire.
Yeah.
We're talking horror movies.
That's right.
Never seen it.
He's a director.
You've never seen Shadow of the Vampire, really? Like the
Have not.
Crazy.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good one. I always find that one to be really underrated. Doesn't get mentioned a lot.
It's a strange film. It's a weird. Uday Care steals the show, though.
Oh, yeah, he's
And
that guy's
Willem
like-
Dafoe, of course. Dafoe is great.
yeah. Yeah, those are some good actors right there. Good character actors. Make up the genetic DNA of that one.
JP.
Yeah.
Sigh. Anara. Con Air. He fucking throws a cigarette. And for somebody's like, sigh. Anara.
Man, I haven't seen Con Air forever. I was actually just thinking about
it's
that. It's
actually been a while for me too.
Dude,
I used to watch that shit
all
the time, bro.
Matt and The Rock, I watched all the time. Those 2 Nicolas Cage movies, I watched them a lot.
Man, I saw The Rock in the cinema, actually. It's good times.
That's Michael Bay's best movie.
Oh, hands down.
Probably because of the cast.
Yeah, the cast is great.
Michael Bihn's the shit in that movie.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Good stuff. I like anything to do with like Alcatraz, though. I don't know what.
Yeah, it's a cool location. It's got a great cast. It's fun. It's fun.
Yeah, I've been to Alcatraz before. It's fucking cold. It's windy as hell there, man. Super.
It's not a good place to be.
Oh,
they had to close it down because it was too expensive to keep prisoners there. They're like, we're losing money.
Yeah, and it's cold, miserable, in the bay. All right. Well, I don't have anything else on the road horror angle. You guys have anything else?
I like turtles.
I like the chocolate turtles are good. Good shit. I don't know about actual turtles, but
I like turtles. They're all right.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with turtles.
Unless you're Ruggero Deodato.
Oh, man.
What? Do you remember that meme I shared that Jeremy made when it said people in like so-and-so are saving sea turtles, and it showed Deodato's face, and he was just like, he was like all upset or confused.
Yeah, I remember that.
He's like one of my favorite directors, but it's such a fucked up piece of film history. It's like the worst scene in any movie I've ever seen.
It is, man. It's just so
what
good.
was the one? What's the one with the alligator? That one's pretty fucking rough too.
Jungle Holocaust, but I don't have the same sympathy I do for an alligator as a sea turtle.
Yeah, but they use that scene in a couple different. I think they use it in Cannibal Ferox too, right?
I would say they probably use it in Eaten Alive. Eaten Alive uses a lot of the same.
Oh, it
footage.
is Eaten Alive. I think it is Eaten Alive. They actually rehashed that exact same scene with the alligator. It is Eaten Alive.
I don't think Eaten Alive has any of its own footage. Like they use a lot from Jungle Holocaust and Mountain Cannibal God.
And
that's why Robert Kerman on the set, he didn't really notice any animal cruelty because it was all inserted from other movies.
It was. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Okay. Well, I guess that's going to conclude the intro. So we'll be back with some Joyride reviews momentarily.
Yo, who this?
Yo, Moodz, it's your boy, the ill-mannered funky child, calling you to remind you that the featured reviews on this episode contain spoilers.
Aw, yeah, man, that's right, brother. Thanks for the heads up, playa. Now go back to being an unproductive asshole.
Fuck you. I tell your listeners to stop being so dumb, silly, sensitive.
Yeah.
And now, our feature presentation.
All right, so getting into the main features here on episode 239, the Joyride Trilogy. We're going to take it all the way back to a classic year in 2001. No, it's not really a classic year, but we're going to call it that. No, we're not going to call it that because that's just fucking stupid. All right, so
it's not like the worst year, is it?
I don't know. Do you think 2001 is better than 2002? Because remember we did a top 10 for 2 and that wasn't very good.
I don't know. Let me check.
I feel like 2002. No, probably.
I know 2000 sucks. That year is not a very good year. So maybe 1 is better than 2000, but maybe not as good too. I have no idea.
See, well, we kind of have like an issue because I think like a few, like Frailty, for example, was 2002 back then.
You know what? I don't think 2001's all that bad. You got The Others, Pulse, Ichi the Killer, Jeepers Creepers, Devil's Backbone, Jason X, Suicide Club, 13 Ghosts, Trouble Every Day, Session 9, Happiness of the Katakuras, From Hell, Visitor Q, Ghost of Mars, Brotherhood of the Wolf, Valentine, Dagon, Bones, August Underground. It's not that bad of a year.
I mean, Sleepless is even
to be honest, that's better than 2002 right there.
Yeah,
we got slashers.
This isn't a bad
slashers.
Bad year.
Yeah, so I mean, it was still
Angler 2.
I can tell you one thing, it's better than 2000. I think 2000 is not very good. Interesting. 2001 wouldn't actually be that bad of a year to get. Some of those movies I wouldn't actually mind rewatching.
Yeah.
I haven't watched
2000.
Visitor
I don't
Q.
know. It's pretty bad.
Yeah, no, I remember I was checking 2000 on two.
Listen, on the first page of like the first text of Letterboxd, like the first like rundown, like 12 films, you're getting to Hellraiser Inferno. You know what I mean? Like,
just set the bar real
first
low.
line of films ends with Hellraiser Inferno.
Yeah,
if the first line of films has a fucking Weinstein produced Hellraiser, you're in deep shit.
Yeah, that's set the bar.
The
super
number
low,
one,
man.
the number one film in terms of popularity is Scream 3. So,
Oh my god, that's fucking terrible.
Oh my god!
but you got Final Destination and Ginger Snaps there.
I mean, there's decent films, but I mean, you know, the whole year as a whole. I mean,
Yeah, I'm not like you could watch.
Dude, I'm not
23
even
at the top
joking.
10.
Leprechaun in the Hood might make my top 10 that year.
Ugh, fuck. Okay.
Like, I'm not even joking. Like, look at the list.
It might.
Like, bro.
But Leprechaun in the Hood
actually-
is better than In Space. We'll put it that way.
Like, They Nest actually has a shot at this point.
I'm looking at 2005, and I'm like, 2005 is actually better than 2001, 2, 3, 4. And it's actually one of the better.
2005
Yeah, it's better.
sucks, for real.
It's better than 2001, 2, 3, and 4.
Man, I just went through
Oh, wait, we did
2005.
2005. I'm an idiot. I was thinking of 2004.
So I just went
No,
through
2005 had some good stuff.
Yeah, it's decent, but like 2006, 7, I was thinking that they were like a lot stronger years. All those years are very top heavy too. I was kind of going through it, and I was like, man, I don't think these lists are going to be overly that hard to make, man. There's really top shelf films from 6, 7, 8, 9, but then it tapers off real quick, man, like really quick.
I don't know, bro. Like, 2008, dude, is such a, like, there's a lot of stuff there.
Yeah, I guess
2008's pretty good, man. At least it's no. You got Let the Right One In, Martyrs, The Strangers, Hellboy. What the fuck is this one? Lake Mongo, Saw 5, Eden Lake, Pontypool, Ruins, Repo, Midnight Meat Train, Quarantine, Tokyo Gore Police, Splinter. They're starting to get shitty. Machine
Dead
Girl,
The
Dead
Children.
Girl, The Children.
Bad
But even as good as some of those
Biology.
films are, like, are
The
they
Cottage.
really top 10 material? Like, I mean, they do taper off quick though. Like, it seems like
Dance
it's
to the
very,
Dead's
very,
on there.
very top heavy. Right?
I mean,
Dance
but
to the
even
Dead.
like way down, you got Gutter Balls and
Gutterball's making a 10.
So I was actually joking about this because when we were doing the top, I was kind of like, what was it, 6, 7, 8, 9? I was finding films that I owned and seen at 450 to 500. On these lists. I was like, holy
Guys,
shit.
there's 793 horror films released in 2008. Like, I'm
Yeah.
not even making a master list on that. I'm doing
Like, dude,
like,
even on page
some
2, you
There's
have
so many
Alien-
that are garbage
Listen,
though.
Page 2 of Letterboxd, you have Alien Raiders. Like, that's a good movie.
Mm-hmm.
Fetus, Gateway Meat. You have a lot of independent movies that would make our list, Moods. This would actually be a list full of indies.
Pig Hunt.
This is not going to be a mainstream list.
No, it's going to be like our 94 list where we had, 3 or 4 shot on video films in our list.
You did. I think I only had one. You
Yeah, I
had
think
3.
3.
And me and you were the only ones with any shot on video movies on our list. And you had the 3 I didn't, and I had the one you did. So it worked
94
out.
has some pretty damn good shot on video films though, man.
It might
Crazy.
be the year of the 90s shot on video movies.
It is.
94.
It's crazy, man. And
Honestly,
like those are
2007
top quality
too,
ones.
bro.
Yeah. I mean, like
2007 is pretty
I
good.
said, you know, like it's taught, like it tapers off quick. I was going through and I was like, I was hitting like 50, 60. I'm like, okay, well, these movies are decent, but I don't know if these are contenders for a top 10.
How is there 853 fucking horror movies from 2009?
Yeah. I know.
Yeah,
There's a lot.
Yeah,
There's a lot.
it definitely tapers off, but still, like, you go deep and you're still finding gems, though.
Well, I was looking at the list going, man, like me,
Tony
Dave.
is on page 2. Tony's an excellent movie.
Yeah, Tony's awesome. I actually recommended that one a
Heartless is
bunch
on
of
page
people.
2. Heartless is great too.
So I was thinking to myself, I'm like, me, Dave, JP, and Carly are going to have such different lists, I think, from a lot of those years. Like, I can just see the taste varying so drastically. So
I don't know.
it's
Me
cool.
and Dave will probably have some similar ones for.
Nah, we'll
some
have a
of
lot of
these
indie
years.
films on there.
For what
sure.
year? I mean, like in the later 2000s,
Like
the
six,
years are going to
like
be real
6,
weird.
6, 7, and 8, and 9 and stuff. I think those 4 years, I think they might be quite a variety.
Yeah, probably.
I'm just going to do all Asian movies.
I mean, the thing
I'll
is,
watch all
I
the
love-
mainstream movies and movies I know, and then all the Asian movies.
See something
all
like
the day.
Gutter Balls, where I personally fucking love Gutter Balls, right? Like it's one of my all-time favorite movies.
Got to
and
make
where
the list.
I could see JP not even having it.
It
in his
would
top
never
20.
make my list.
That's what I'm saying. That's my point, right? That's exactly my point, right?
You ain't
So
never going
right
to put
there,
Gutter Balls on your list?
Hell no.
He does not.
Why
fucking
not?
like Gutter Balls.
It's bad.
It's not bad.
It's bad.
No, it's
I'm
not.
not going to argue that.
That movie
But
has
it's on my list.
It has amazing effects in it, man. It's not bad.
Amazing effects.
Yes,
I
dude.
wouldn't say
The
amazing.
bowling ball shiner scene. Give me a fucking
effects are pretty
break.
fucking good, JP.
Dude, that
for
scene is
independent stuff. They're really
amazing,
good.
man.
But are we putting like asterisks on everything for independent stuff?
No, they're actually some of the better.
No, I don't.
I mean,
dude,
this
honestly, I don't remember a fucking single thing about the movie other than everybody seemed like they were overacting.
Oh, the acting's not good. Except Dan Ellis. Dan Ellis, the only guy's acting.
They did have a
Dude,
world
we
record for the most
literally
fucks in a film.
We literally watched that movie like 10 years ago, bro.
I watched Gutterballs like 12 times.
Me too. Me too.
I don't know. Maybe I honestly gave it like an 8 back then.
And I'm
Venus
one of the
is making my list, and maybe
I'm one
even
of
Otis.
And I'm one of
For
the only
2008.
people that has ever seen Gutterballs 2 with Ryan.
Yeah, that's true.
He only ever showed it twice. It's crazy. And I was one of the screenings. It's crazy.
But yeah, I'm actually looking forward to getting one of these 2000 years. Should be fun.
I hate it.
All right, let's get back to the.
Just kidding. I don't care.
Let's
I
get
don't
back
care.
to 2001 here. With Joyride from 2001, of course, starring the late Paul Walker. We got Steve Zahn in the film. Lily, I didn't even realize her name was Lily. What a weird name that is.
The main girl's name is Lily.
Yeah, her actual name is Lily Sabisky. She always reminded me, like, I remember when this movie, it might have been the first time I'd ever seen her. She always reminded me like of a young version of like Helen Hunt. She kind of looks like her, like a younger version of her. But
I
she became
made kind of a good.
No, she did a few movies that were quite popular after. I think she did The Glass House and stuff. And she was, whatever happened to this chick? I haven't really seen her in anything. Yeah, she seemed like she was getting pretty big, but.
I try not to be rude, but it's funny because you know, like how everybody considers Paul Walker like the hottest person ever.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was watching it and I was just like, she's fine, but she ain't Paul Walker fine. I was just fine, but she ain't Paul Walker fine. Because I feel like, what?
I mean, Paul Walker's a pretty handsome fucking dude, man.
Yeah. She might be Steve Zahn fine.
Like the thing about Paul Walker too is he just has like that, like, you know, look.
He's got that boy next door look. Like he doesn't look like he's trying hard.
Next door, yeah.
He doesn't look like he's trying hard.
Captain America quarterback, but he's not a dickhead.
Yeah, he just looks natural. He doesn't look like he's trying too hard. It's kind of an interesting look for him.
Right.
So this movie right here is directed by John Dahl, who of course directed. Actually, I like a few of this guy's films. I've preached about The Last Seduction.
Dude,
so
fucking
many times.
J.J. Abrams wrote this shit.
He wrote and produced the movie. Yeah, he wrote and produced it. But yeah, so he did a movie called The Last Seduction in 1994 with Linda Florentino, Bill Pullman, Peter Berg. It's like a film neo-noir kind of thing. It's really good. Actually, he started out making a bunch of these. Kill Me Again, I think, had Val Kilmer in it, which I think was another neo-noir.
Mike
thriller.
Madsen's in that too, right?
Yeah. And then in 93, he did Red Rock West with Nick Cage, who seems to get brought up in like every fucking show. That's
Dennis
like another.
Hopper too?
Yeah, Dennis Hopper, Last Seduction. So he started out his career just doing these kind of neo-noir films, which are actually really good. I've never seen Unforgettable, and I believe that Linda Florentino's in that movie too with Ray Liotta.
I was going to say it's Ray Liotta. I know all his movies. I've never seen any except Joyride. Is that weird?
You've never seen Rounders? So he did Rounders.
I've never seen
before
any
this
of
one.
those either.
No.
Okay.
I know all his films though, and I know who's in them, and I always look at them, but I never watched them. Red Rock West, I have an import. Always wanted to watch that.
Yeah,
He actually did a lot of TV as well.
Yeah, he did tons of TV, but I've seen Red Rock West, Last Seduction, and Rounders, Joyride. So I've seen a lot of his movies. This was definitely kind of a standout one for, compared to what he had done before. It's just so different for him. But yeah, written and produced by J.J. Abrams, of course, from the Star Trek fame and Star Wars, I guess. That's kind of weird that he did stuff in both those franchises. Kind of weird because usually you're like a Star Trekkie
He helped
or you're just a
Phantasm
Star.
get re-released too.
Yeah.
And remastered.
Yeah. So Abrams is he's done some work over the years, man.
Yeah,
So,
I like some of his work.
yeah, I mean, I'm not a big fan of Star
Didn't he
Wars
do
or Star Trek and stuff.
Didn't he do Super 8? That was fun.
Yeah.
He produced
I never saw
8.
Super 8.
It's
You
fun.
never saw it? It's fun. It's a fun
I
movie.
stayed at one though.
Who hasn't? Who hasn't? Come on. Cheapest fucking places. All right, so quick little synopsis. 3 people on a road trip from Colorado to New Jersey talk to a trucker on their CB radio, then must escape when he turns out to be a psychopathic killer. All right, so yeah, that is really the short and long of this one. Basically, what happens is Paul Walker is going to pick up his girlfriend, played by Lily
Not his
Sabesky.
girlfriend, dog.
What?
Not his girlfriend.
His childhood friend.
friends.
His childhood best friend. Whatever. His childhood
He wants
girlfriend.
it to be his girlfriend.
Exactly.
We're
His
going to
childhood
nitpick every little detail of this movie.
Yeah, so his
Take 4
childhood
hours to get this description done.
best friend from school, and but he's got to make a pit stop to go pick up his brother, who's just been arrested, played by Steve Zahn. So he picks up his brother, joins him on the road trip. In like a weird sequence of events, I've never really been able to understand why they do this, but they stop at this place, and Steve Zahn like just purchases a CB to put into the car.
They purchase it so they can go faster by checking for cops.
Like, who cares, man? Like, really?
No, people do that.
They used
bro.
to do that
People
shit
do
before
that.
they had those apps on your phone.
Yeah. Like people would like. We used to have one in not in my car, but like a family friend who would do that.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it makes sense. I mean, I've heard of people.
Because truck
I love
drivers
the
will
road
like,
talk too.
yeah,
He's like a Kojak on the back.
Right. So, of course, they put the CB into the vehicle and they start fucking around on it. And Steve Zahn kind of contacts this truck driver and he passes it off. And Paul Walker ends up pretending to be a girl and he kind of leads him on, playing off this character by the name of Candy Cane. And ultimately, they tell him to like,
his girl voice, bro.
Yeah, his girl voice, and then they keep the joke going on, and then they kind of set up a date for him to kind of meet up at this hotel and shit, and it really doesn't go very well because into a motel. And what happens is he ends up killing this dude that's actually in this room that
He
they say to meet him in.
paralyzes him or something. He don't
Yeah.
kill him. He rips his jaw
off, bro.
Yeah, he kills him.
Rips
Like,
his
that
jaw
shit is
right off.
nasty,
He didn't die.
bro.
He didn't die. He was in a coma.
He
He's
might.
But I mean, he has no. He literally
might
has no
make
jaw
it.
left. So
He's coming back. He's coming back for part 4. It's called Jaw Ride.
Yeah, that's
So-
the.
it's called Shaw Ride.
Jaw Ride, yeah. Jaw
So
Ride,
ultimate-
Joyride 4.
So ultimately, yeah. So that kind of leads to this cat and mouse game where, with this villain named Rusty Nail, which I've always liked the villain's name of Rusty Nail. It's kind of cool. The other kind of interesting thing about the Rusty Nail character is that he's voiced by Ted Levine, who's uncredited in the movie. So the actor that plays Rusty Nail doesn't do his own voice work. It's the voice of Ted Levine, who of course is.
Are you
Buffalo.
sure it's not Ted Levine as Rusty
100%.
Nail?
It's not. It's two different
No, because
characters.
it's just some fat guy.
Yes,
And
it's not Ted
he's not
Levine.
even fat though. He doesn't even look that fat at
He
all.
is fat.
No, there's an
Fat guy.
uncredited name for a different actor, and I actually read on it that he doesn't do
No,
any
it's
voice
definitely
work.
not him.
It's Ted
Guaranteed.
Levine who does
Because
the voice work, and he played Buffalo Bill and, of course, Sounds of the Lambs.
He's also in Heat and Bulletproof and Hills Have Eyes remake, but he's a bunch of shit.
Yeah.
No, but it's definitely not Ted Levine. You can tell, and they basically didn't credit him on purpose.
Yeah,
Right.
and actually, the guy that plays Rusty Nail isn't even credited in the movie either, which is kind of weird. Like, I don't know how he doesn't get
It's actually
credit,
creepy. They really make a character without showing you. He's so well established, and you never see the fucker. It's only a voice.
but that's one thing about this movie that I really find cool is that you're right, because they don't actually really show his face. They kind of more in shadows. You don't really ever get to see exactly what he looks like and stuff. And you got this really creepy voice by Ted Levine and stuff. They do a good job of, concealing the identity and stuff, where in the sequels, in part 2, they showed a little bit more, and in part 3, they just no fucks are given.
And he gets less fat and as the movies progress. Like 1, he's just like this chubby guy. And then 2, he's like a little less chubby. And then 3, it's just like, hey, we hired a professional stuntman to play.
Yeah, because he's actually
hired
played by
Jason.
three
That's
different.
We just hired Jason for Freddy vs. Jason. Yeah.
He's played by
Like,
three
come on,
different
bro.
characters or 3 different actors in 3 different movies. And actually, it's kind of funny too, because the guy that plays Rusty Nail in the third one, which I always forget his name, he's actually
Ken
in the
Kurtzinger.
yeah, Kurtzinger, and he's actually in the second movie as a different character. Funny.
Is he really?
Kind of like how he got killed by Jason in one of the Fridays.
Yeah.
But then he just fucking was Jason in another one.
Yeah. Because I remember hearing, like,
Yeah, because he was in Manhattan.
Kane Hodder
right?
was all mad because they're like, no, we went with someone from one of the other Fridays, and he's like, who's still wanting to be Jason after all the like Ted White, like, and they're like Ken Kurtzinger. He's like, who?
Yeah, because he's in Manhattan, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny. Okay. So your guys' thoughts on Joyride?
Love it.
I like it.
Okay. What do
I'm
you
a
love
big
about
fan. I'm a big fan of this
I think
movie.
this is the first time I watched it all the way through.
I think it's like perfect for what it is, like a thriller horror hybrid. You know what I mean? Like I think that the characters are likable. They have good charisma, especially the brother. Like he just seems like a douchebag older brother, right? That is sort of gets away with his charm and his like goofy nature and carefree attitude, but he might kind of be an actual dickhead deep down. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I don't get that from his character. I think that he's just kind of like a lost soul that just kind of just does stupid things, gets himself into trouble and stuff. I don't think he's like douchebag is a very specific term.
It really comes from the scene where he is, knows that his brother likes this chick, and then, maybe alcohol is involved, but he definitely went down there with intentions to.
Right. Well, yeah, because he's staring at her, in her eyes and stuff, and then he comes around the corner.
He's also just a loser. He's a fuck up.
Yeah, he's a fuck up.
Like I said, he's a lost soul. He's kind of that lost soul, and he uses comedy to kind of like, get him through life and shit like that, right? He's really he's kind of getting away from the true himself. He's
talks his way out of things.
Exactly, man. He's afraid to be himself, and he's like, when people get nervous and shit, they either sing or just start talking too much or making stupid jokes. It's like him every moment of his life, right?
Yeah, but I like him. He reminds me.
He's a good character.
He is likable.
Good.
He's likable in the fact that like. That he's the comic relief in the film, but he's not over the top. It's not like ridiculous, like, punchline shit.
Well, they seem real. They seem like real characters.
Like how
they're both like, well-rounded.
Yeah. And like even the scene where he's like after the dude like shoulder checks him in the grocery store or whatever, the gas station, and then they get the Rusty Nail dude there, and they're like, he's like, you're telling me you saw that and you don't want to, you're not jumping at this opportunity. You know what I mean? Like, like just how like intense and like, how do you not like go through with it after that? Like, I just,
what I like about it though? You genuinely feel kind of bad for Rusty Nail at first.
No, 100%. Because he's just some loser, like sad boy.
Well, I never did this before. And yeah, which is why the sequels don't really do justice to the character, because I don't think Rusty Nail ever did this before.
He definitely has some dark shit going on, because he even says.
So that's my question, actually, because it's not he's not established as like a super, like there's no, I don't think they mention anything about, the Slaughter Highway or whatever it was until like the sequels and stuff. So I'm thinking so my question was, when I watch this film again, because I think that, do you think that they kind of created the character of Rusty Nail after they fucked with him, and then they realized they basically sent him to a room with some racist fucking fat white dude?
I think they snaps. Did. Because if you realize what he does is he initially says apologize. He wants an apology, and then when he corners them the first time, he doesn't kill him. If it was the Rusty Nail from 2 and 3, he would have killed him immediately. That's why it's such.
Not
2 and 3 are very kind of poorly written. They don't do justice to the characters.
Sequels, dude.
I'm fine with it. but they don't do justice to the character. They're not. They're not in the same league. They're not in the same league.
You also have to remember, though, too, because by Joyride 2, it's 7 years later, and they do establish the fact that, like, hey, man, there's a lot of shit that a lot of people are going missing on this stretch of highway, a lot of bodies mounting up. Yeah. And saying that does actually make sense, because it has been 7 years later now. So that highway's established that there's something fucking sinister going on here. So that character being written like that kind of makes sense, that the bodies have been piling up over 7 years. And then, of course, part 3, which is 6 years later.
Snap, right?
Yeah.
They definitely made him snap.
My thing is, the one thing that I think he might have done something like this in the past is that he talks about the rain and how it washes things away and keeps people inside and stuff.
He only said that afterwards. He only says it twice, but he doesn't say it keeps people clean until after he did the first act of violence.
He says it
at the very end. I like the rain; it keeps people inside. That's all he says. He does not say wash and clean. And that would be a reference to Taxi Driver. No, he does not. I just watched it. I listened to it today at work again.
You listened to it?
I watched it once, and then I listened to the dialogue.
That is true. That is true. He does say that. And
he only says it the first time, I like the rain. It's supposed to be a big storm. It keeps people inside. In the very end on the CB, after everything's happened, he's made it away. He says, I like the rain. It keeps people inside. It washes away and makes everything clean.
Right, but it's something
because he's now looking
like something
to be,
that
he's
like
looking
his
to
thing,
be
though.
somebody to cleanse now. To be almost like one of those killers that wants to cleanse the evil or whatever the fuck he's doing. But that's why I think that they created him more so than he's done something. He might have done some shady shit, but I honestly feel he snapped because he wants an apology. In a way, he feels uncertain. He shows up with fucking pink champagne, for Christ's sakes. He's not done anything like this.
Yeah, it's kind of like a
and in
justification,
part 2 and
right?
3, he's like not even the same character, and he doesn't have a shred of what he was before, which is fine because they're cheap sequels. But I'm saying I truly think that they helped create this guy to be the monster.
Oh no, I mean, dude, what they're doing is clearly wrong.
It's horrible. I mean, to be honest.
It's
dangerous too. They put both their lives at risk. The other dude had it coming. Rusty Nail really didn't have it coming.
Yeah, I mean, like I actually felt bad for him right at the beginning. I mean, I think you're supposed to a little bit. You know what I mean?
That's what's brilliant about the movie.
So in a sense, it's almost like vigilanteism, right? He's like, oh, these guys are fucking, doing.
But he's also hurting people that have nothing to do with it too in the process. So he's obviously he's snapped. He's a monster.
Yeah,
and that's definitely where you lose all the sympathy for Rusty Nail at that point, where because he doesn't really. I mean, but again, and that's in the writing too, because they really don't, you don't sympathize too much with Rusty Nail in that moment, maybe a little bit because, he's kind of done wrong and stuff. And he does a horrific act, but he also does take out a fucking, a super racist motherfucker too. So it's kind of like that guy got what was coming to him. It was like foreshadowing with this guy saying all that fucking shit in the,
well, he also kills
motel.
like other people that are innocent. Like he killed one of the clerks. He killed the ice guy. He killed. He hurt other people and stuff, and he obviously snapped.
He actually takes the ice guy.
Yeah,
which I don't know how the fuck he did that, but
at least his body.
Right? Yeah.
There's only 3 deaths in the entire movie, though. It seems like there's more, and it's weird, but there's only 3 total. And
who's the third?
The ice truck driver.
He's the first. Because technically, the guy without the jaw didn't die.
Well, I think we're going to count that guy as. I think we're going to count that guy as probably a death.
And then we got the store clerk, and that's off camera, off screen.
All
the deaths are off screen.
There's 2. I think the ice truck, the truck explosion when he hits the truck. I mean, that's on screen, right?
Yeah, but he's not dead yet. We don't know because he ends up in the end in the cab.
Yeah, no, that guy actually in there, I think, is the dude. Is that not the guy that?
It's the ice guy.
Yeah, so is that the guy that brings back the credit card to him?
Yeah, he put him in there.
Dude, that scene is so ridiculous.
Yeah,
they're like
so
running.
I think they assume. I think they're implying that he's the dead guy. So you're right, though.
Yeah, of course. No, they are. They just basically come out and say it. They come out and say it.
It's kind of funny though. Like in this movie, it's this movie with like there's a bunch of carnage, things are happening and stuff, and there's like 3 kills and 2 of them are off screen. It's like it really does not kind of focus on that.
It's more thriller, dude.
Yeah, it really is.
Like, well, there was like alternate. There's like a bunch of alternate shit with this movie too. I remember this when I first bought the DVD back in like the mid 2000s.
Yeah,
but there's like a 29-minute long alternate ending.
Yeah,
what happens in it?
I was gonna rewatch it and I couldn't. I forgot to.
So Rusty Nail shotgun suicides himself, and
what?
Then yeah, bro.
And where? In the truck?
Yeah. And then there's like a bunch of bodies in his trailer. So I think that's kind of alludes to he might have been doing it longer.
Yeah, you're right.
But then
which I'm glad they didn't do that because they set up this whole franchise to like
I actually think the ending
this guy just fucking
the best one.
This guy just fucking wins in every movie. Essentially, man.
And one is with Rusty Nail getting arrested after being beat up by the 2 brothers.
Bullshit artist.
One is where he gets ran over with his own truck. And then there's also alternate.
Yeah, I don't remember these.
There's also there's also like apparently the girl was supposed to be romantically interested in both brothers, which you can kind of see in the movie, but there was like scenes that they shot where they were like, I guess she like kissed both of them or something in different scenes, but I'm glad they cut all that out.
Yeah. No, the way
the movie's good pace it is.
I think the ending that they used compared to those works a lot better. Like having Rusty Nail commit suicide is kind of stupid because then it just kind of ends it, right? You can't really bring back that character. He kills himself.
And especially if you find a bunch of bodies in his truck, like why is he killing himself so he doesn't get caught? Like I don't understand.
Well, I think it's just like
there's too many questions.
Like, he's honestly kind of a tragic character, right? I mean, he's probably just.
Yeah, but if you have him have like 100 bodies in his truck, he doesn't seem very tragic. It kind of defeats who he is. It goes
depends,
counterproductive.
right? Because it could be anybody who kills anybody is an asshole to begin with. But I'm saying he seemed like a character who was like picked on and had his enough of society and the human race, right? Like that's the vibe.
Travis from Taxi Driver. That's why the rain quote reminded me of that at the very end.
Right.
I wish the rain would come wash them all away,
Yeah, but actually the only one where there was 4, I think, alternate endings, and this is the only one where he lived is the one we got.
I think
all the other ones he dies.
Yeah, I think this is the best way to go, to be honest.
I was just saying, I don't like the idea of him killing himself, but yet having a bunch of bodies in his back, unless he was going to be caught.
Well, that changes the whole perspective of the movie.
It changes everything for me. It makes it worse.
if you're looking at like these guys created Rusty Nail by setting him up and making him do some shit in a motel room, then if you get that alternate ending with bodies building up, then it doesn't. They didn't do shit. This guy was already a fucking murdering piece of shit. So it changes the whole perspective of the movie. Him killing himself doesn't seem like a character trait at all. He seems way too strong-willed to do that. So I don't believe that shit either.
Well, I mean, especially if he's killed a bunch of people already, right?
Exactly.
Like,
why would
you if he didn't and he killed himself out of guilt? But
no fucking serial killers ever off themselves. They go down in flames, man. These guys fight to the death.
Leonard Lake killed himself so he wouldn't get caught.
One out of like 1,700, but
you're right.
Yeah,
you're right.
I can't remember. But I would need to watch the alternate endings again.
Forgot one road horror movie that not one person mentioned on that list. Fucking Unhinged, man. Unhinged was a great one.
Yep.
With Russell Crowe, the best road horror movie of years.
Oh yeah.
But I don't think you know what a bad day is. I want to see him fight Rusty Nail.
Yeah. No, I and Rusty Nail, like the character is super interesting and creepy. Like just the fact that they're driving and then this dude's still on the radio. Has anybody seen Candy Cane? Like, bro, it's been hours.
I got a question. I got a question here. And I think I noticed this. Okay, so last time I watched Joyride was when Joyride 3 came out. I watched Joyride 1 and 2 before I watched 3 just to kind of refresh and stuff. And I think I had the same question before. I don't know if this is just like full on continuity issue or just like a location thing, but I always wondered. And I know it's film and you got to separate reality sometimes and things like that. But I always wondered how in the fuck, because it's not really fully explained. I don't think that how he abducts the girl, how he abducts the girl. And so he somehow abducts her, which I don't really know exactly where she would have been because remember she was heading home for school break or whatever. So he abducts her somehow.
He must have been following them the entire time.
That's the idea that you get is he never, after he lets them go, he never actually let them go. He just followed them around. And then he sees a girl.
But wouldn't she be going in a different direction though? Like she's not related to them.
He must have grabbed her right away.
That's what I kept thinking too. I'm like, so he grabbed her right away with a plan already because he has her. And then of course that awesome scene where, he spray paints on the signs. He's like, look in the trunk. And then he's obviously been at the motel where he put the CB back into there. So he was following them. That's clear cut that he was following. But I was just wondering where in the mix of things that he takes the girl to kind of set it up to where, here's a CB. I've got your girl, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, what the fuck? I kept thinking about it.
Probably right after she left.
Yeah, I guess so, right? So you have to kind of like insert.
Well, there's a lot of stuff in these type of movies where even The Hitcher, like
because when you're dealing with when you're dealing with a big reality like road, like there's a lot of distance you're covering and there's a lot of time involved in driving and stuff like that. So I'm just like, man, that seemed way too quick. How close do
you got to be for those CBs? You know what I mean? How close do you got to be?
They say 5 miles in the movie or something?
They're not overly too far, so you have to be pretty close. But so I always had a question about that because it does seem like a valid question, right?
Then how the fuck would that guy know that fucking they can drive for 40 miles straight without getting pulled over by a cop if they only get a 5 mile fucking thing?
Yeah, there's obviously a little bit good question.
Well, because somebody could have been coming from there and are closer to you now.
You're right. That makes sense.
Yeah.
There's an interesting little factoid here. So when they get to the hotel there and the brother's watching the TV and he sees, he clicks onto the porno channel. Now, that quick little scene there, and I've recognized her from day one of watching this film because at the time she was still doing porn. She actually... So this is what leads me into the little story here. The porn actress that's on TV, her name is Animal. Anna, and then Maul. She was a famous.
She's in the AVN Hall of Fame, dog.
she was a famous porn star in like the 80s and 90s. I used to rent her movies she was one of my favorite porn stars. She actually got killed the same way that Paul Walker died. She died in a car accident, like the porn star. She died in a car accident in 2006, 2007. Just ironically enough, right? That she makes an appearance in this film, and he later dies in a car accident kind of the same way. I just thought that was kind of a weird thing, but yeah, she was like a very, very famous porn star. So just thought I'd bring that up. I just recognized her right away. She's got that weird face. She's very, very recognizable. I just thought it was kind of a strange coincidence.
Joyride's going to be on Cursed Films next.
Yeah. It's just fucking weird to me, man.
Isn't it kind of weird that Paul Walker's like entire career, like what he's known for is like cars?
Well, I don't think it's a coincidence that he was cast in this film, because he was into like fast cars and driving and stuff pre-Joyride, and obviously getting his role in Fast and Furious and stuff like that. So I don't think this is a coincidence. They were looking for somebody that could probably drive.
Didn't Fast and the Furious come out the same year as this?
Not sure. But he obviously had a history of driving, and probably even doing his own stunts and stuff. I never looked into doing driving and stunts, but I'm assuming
Fast and Furious came out the same year as this.
Yeah, I'm assuming he did some of the work on it and stuff too. Why not hire an actor that can do the stunt? They kind of duel it up and stuff, right? Yeah. So it made perfect sense why he would do this movie and then go on to do those.
So that Running Scared movie, is that a road movie? I never seen it. I heard it's good though. He's in that, right?
Is it road?
Running Scared?
I've never seen it.
I can't really remember.
I can't remember. One Crazy Night movie where he's like running from somebody.
Yeah, I don't know if I've actually ever seen it. I know the movie you're talking. I can't think. I
hear good things about it. I really did. I heard a lot of good things.
Yeah, if I did, I'm spacing on that one, but yeah. So yeah, no. Overall, like I like this movie. I think it's it's got decent production. It did well at the box office too, which I was quite surprised. But I do think though, like once they pick up the girl Lily, in the film, it does slow down a little bit in the middle, and then it kind of obviously picks up in the end. It's just funny, like, coming back and, kind of keeping track of like these type of movies. Sometimes I have this weird thing about me. I always like to keep track of like the death toll, the body count, whatever you want to call it. And this one it's such a strange film. It has 3 deaths and 2 are off screen. And it just seems like there's so much more carnage in it, but there really isn't. I mean, that's obviously not the focus, but he is pretty bad shit though in this. Like it seems like he's more hell bent, and there's probably could have been probably a bigger body count to the film.
Yeah, could have added some kills.
I think that it's like kind of like what's effective about the movie is like the suspense aspect and like the like actual like scariness of it. The fact that he's always around, you know what I mean? And yeah, like logistically, if you actually think about it, it probably doesn't make the most sense. But most road movies don't. It doesn't really make sense how they could always be around you and stuff like that in general,
especially in a big ass
but like the scene where he's just like, mama's boy, you really should get that fixed, and he's like, get what fixed? And he's like, that tail light, and it's like, oh fuck, where the fuck is he, man?
Well, that creepy ass speech he gives, like, what they do when they can't identify a body? They cut off his fingers, and that's fucking nasty.
Yeah, dude.
That could make you seem like he killed somebody before. And also, there is a scene when he's talking on the radio, and he cuts out, and I feel like he said something fucked up.
Yeah,
and you didn't get to hear it.
Yeah.
Right.
So I mean, it's up in the air, but it being up in the air is so much more satisfying than just knowing.
Right, I agree with you. I think that I think that he's just an interesting character, and you kind of can fill in the blanks and think about him how you want, because they don't.
I agree.
And
I like it.
That's cool. You know what I mean? And he's very mysterious. They don't show him much. He's, he's
a character by a voice almost the whole time.
Yeah, and the voice is very good.
He's definitely the most mysterious.
And candy cane. Like that is fucking
He's definitely the most mysterious and the most frightening in this movie, just because of the fact that like the way he's shown, he's always in the dark light. You never get to see the face, but it's also the voice. It's the way he comes off and stuff. And he is just a lot more mysterious. I mean, the other movies are more kind of body count films and stuff, but
they're slashers.
By having the voice, the truck is the entity that is doing the killing, which makes it scary and an unstoppable force. And on top of that, like it's smart because this guy did a lot of film noirs, right? So he keeps the killer in the shadows, which is really smart. So
that's
a nice touch. I mean, this movie's really good for what it is. It's probably one of the best movies that came out around this time, really, if you think about it, as far as horror is concerned. I can't think of too many better ones.
And this was a wide release, like big budgeted, like type of movie too. Honestly, like you didn't really get a lot of everything was starting to be remakes and just like 2 years later, it's just like all remakes and sequels. It was kind of cool to see something that was a little, it might take some influence from stuff that came before it, but an original character,
I like when he tells them to go into the diner and order 6 cheeseburgers a piece. I'm like,
dude,
6 cheeseburgers.
That's the best, bro.
That part's great. Yeah, did you guys know who the?
That was a great way to get Paul Walker's bare ass on screen, though.
Right.
Come on.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Did you guys know who that store manager was? Who's like, this would be a good joke. That dude is the same dude in fucking Near Dark and Terminator 2 who gets fucked up in the bar. He gets his throat slit by Bill Paxton in Near Dark, and he gets his leather jacket stolen in Terminator 2. I'm pretty sure it's the same guy.
Is that the same dude? No way.
There's because I looked him up because I thought he was really good in a small little role. And then I was like, funny. Oh, that's funny. That's really funny. That's that guy. And I was only in like a handful of movies. And I also really like Jim Beaver in it. Jim Beaver is in he pops up in Nightmare Alley, and he's also in Crimson Peak.
He plays the sheriff.
He's the sheriff. He's great in it. He's like, he's like, it's like an old fashioned Western. I'm giving you the sundown to get out of wild.
Doesn't he call him fucking like in the? It's so tough the times he calls them retards.
Yeah.
And
secured us out to jail. What today, boy?
It made me laugh so hard the way he says
yesterday.
Yeah.
Yesterday? Yeah.
Get out of my town, you retard.
He's like, this is like going to be like an old Western.
Yeah.
Old fashioned Western. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's a good movie. And the side characters are good too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they even have her uncredited here. Uncredited animal.
Dude,
crazy.
It's so stupid though. Like when they like, I like because you still don't know who the fucking guy is, right? So they see this ice truck pull up, and he's like, oh shit! Like just the look of like how scared they are, and he's like trying to motion through him from outside and shit like that. And then the dude is so unrealistic, but the ice trucker guy like bolts out of the store and like looks around, like he looks like the killer, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then he chases them.
He's like the nicest guy on earth. I wouldn't chase him down to give him a credit.
I know they're going down this dirt ass road, hitting mailboxes and shit. I'd be like, okay, I tried. I'm turning around now. You know what I mean?
I wouldn't even bothered, man. That guy was too fucking nice. And they got.
I've done that though. Like I've literally people have like left their credit card at the desk. And I'll see it, I'll be like, shit. And I'll like run outside real quick, and I'm looking all around.
Running like, outside, but like you didn't follow him down a dirt road going.
No,
like
I'm not gonna do all that
with your truck of ice and shit.
But it's just funny that like they fucking like destroy mailboxes, which is like a felony. And then the dude's like, they're like, we got a gun. He got his finger. He's holding a finger gun, dude. He's like, and I got a MasterCard.
Man, this is funny, man. I'm reading through the trivia here, and it said that Stallone was considered for the role of Rusty Nail. That's pretty funny.
What?
The voice is Stallone?
Yeah, dude.
It said the role. I'm not sure if it was, the voice or the actual physical person, but yeah, I don't know. That's pretty funny, actually.
You're greedy and lazy.
Oh, wow. Tobey Maguire was considered for the role of Lewis. That's pretty funny. Wow. Eric Stoltz and Eric Roberts auditioned for the role of Rusty Nail.
Eric Roberts would have been all right.
Eric Stoltz. That's fucking
Eric Stoltz,
random.
I don't think so.
No, that doesn't. He's too fucking small, man.
They probably tried to play out the role, and then they were like, let's just not show Rusty Nail and just get a good voice, which is smart.
Yeah.
Dude, you know what's crazy is like they did so interesting. So all the voice stuff was done in post. So that'd be kind of weird acting, not hearing.
Well, I'm sure they had voice. Rusty Nail, the guy who played Rusty Nail, was doing the voice, and they're like, "This guy sucks."
Of course,
that happened in Phone Booth. That happened in Phone Booth too. I guess they had an actor for. I didn't see Phone Booth, but that was a story. They had an actor doing the voice. Right. Like, this doesn't work at all. And he's like, "I'm calling Kiefer Sutherland. Fuck this." Can you imagine getting replaced? Like Rusty Nail's original voice was like, "Candy cane, where's you at, Candy cane?" This is so bad. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, there's not that much fucking interesting trivia on this. I was kind of looking through.
Yeah,
it took all 4 years to make this movie, though, or to get it made.
How long?
I should say 4 years to get it made, not to make it. But
yeah,
that doesn't really surprise me. A lot of these movies take so long to figure out the kinks. But yeah, I don't know. All in all, I think it's enjoyable. You guys got anything else to say about it?
No.
Oh, interesting. Here's a bit of trivia. The commercial and the TV in the motel room with the spray on hair product, that commercial is used in Fight Club as well.
That's random.
It's very random. Is it a real commercial or just a fake one they made for movies?
Like, I think it's a fake one.
Yeah. That's probably why they reused it.
They're both 20th Century Fox, aren't they? They must be.
Or
is Fight Club?
Oh, and Rachel Singer's in Fight Club as well.
Who?
The lead chick in Fight Club.
She's in Joyride?
Yeah, she's at the gas. She's the gas station manager.
She's in the movie for like 2 seconds.
Yeah, her.
Yeah, but it's just interesting. Like, that's kind of fucking weird.
It is weird.
Yeah, I got nothing else.
Me either.
I'm good.
We all thought the same. Like,
all right. Well, GP, what do you got on this one?
Probably higher than you guys. I've always really loved this movie. It's one that I could honestly watch a lot. It used to be on TV all the time, like just on like FX, just always be on.
Yeah.
I remember watching it a lot. I know Carly's a big fan of this one as well. I'm gonna come in at an 8 out of 10 on this one.
Dave.
Yeah, I was torn between 8 and 8.5. I'll give it an 8.
Really?
Yeah, it's a good movie. I mean, like I said, for what it is, there's not really that many better than it, is there? I can't think of any.
No,
go with an 8. It's a good,
it's
solid
good.
number. I mean, it for this year, it definitely is my top 5, probably.
I'm in at a 7.5 on this one. I just honestly wish there was a little bit more kills in it, to be honest. I think there's just potential to have a little bit more and stuff, but it's kind of slows down a little bit for in the middle, for like a little bit. But
if it was like more of a slasher, I would agree with you, but I don't know. I didn't even know, like, think about kills in this movie or anything, you know.
I think
I thought the shotgun thing was kind of cool.
The middle part of the movie just kind of like after they pick up the girl, it just kind of slows down a little bit for me.
It does a little bit. The first act's better.
Yeah, and then it really does pick up in like the last like 30 minutes of the film. I would say is probably the best parts. Really, it's very suspenseful.
Although it is kind of funny when they realize that fucking Rusty Nail's like after them again, and they're like just fucking. He bolts up to the room, and he's like, he said you're up with your brother or something. That's a pretty good fucking question why you're up here.
Yeah.
But then they start just fucking freaking the fuck out, and then the chick's like, "What the fuck is going on?"
She's like, "How scared should I be?"
Right.
I think one of my biggest complaints about the movie is that there isn't that much actual road horror. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like, you know, the truck's running down the car and they're evading it, and you know, that kind of cat and mouse game and stuff like that.
The action?
Yeah, essentially, but like driving,
because the horror to me, it's like filled with road horror. It's like the whole thing is like scary.
Yeah, but I mean, it's stationary, you know, and motels and stuff. Like, look at the whole third act kind of thing. I'm talking about like if you were to compare it to something like Duel, where it's literally cat and mouse, like it's, you know, guys.
Well, that's like action though.
Yeah, but I mean, that's the road horror of it. It's fucking.
I mean, like Race with the Devil literally is like
on the road,
like jumping on the fucking RV and getting shot, and then like, trying to stab them.
I'm just saying, there's potential to have that in here, to have those type of scenes, but there actually really is none of that in the movie at all. They definitely, in the sequels, they kind of exploit that a little bit more, where they do have a little bit of like road chases, especially by the third one. It seems to take place more on a bigger scale, like on the road and stuff. And yeah, I mean, just going back to the road horror elements, but yeah, this one's just
it depends what you consider road horror too, because to me, that's like road action. You know, that's more of like that's not the horror.
It's fucking scary. You got a fucking rig chasing you down in your car, dude. That's horrific, man.
I'm just saying, like, to me, like, road horror also means like the horror stuff on the road.
Your definition could be completely wrong, like it is right now. So you can go fuck yourself. Dude, if I was in a car and I was getting chased down by a fucking Peterbilt 359, I'd be shitting my pants.
I'm not saying that that's not road horror too.
Look what he did to the ice truck, man. He blew through that shit.
I'm just saying that the other stuff to me is also road horror.
Of course. But I just wanted, you know, some of those elements in there. And of course, you can finish it off in the motel and have a rig going through a motel and, you know, big explosions and all that type of shit. And, you know, it's all fine. It's got to end somewhere. But, you know, there's potential there. So Anyways, that is going to conclude Joyride from 2001.
Joyride 2, dead ahead. We got a long road ahead of us.
All right, so getting into the sequel from 2008 called Joyride 2, Dead Ahead. So this one is directed by Louis Marneau, who I recognize the name. Okay, let's see what this guy, he did Carnosaur 2 back in 1995. He did Soldier Boys in 95, Retroactive in 97, Made Man. Oh, he directed Bats in 1999. Okay. Oh, so speaking of road horror, he did The Hitcher 2. I've been waiting.
Have you guys seen that?
So The Hitcher 2 was a sequel to the original film, right? But done after the remake?
No, it came out before the remake.
Oh, okay. So they did the sequel and then okay.
You've not seen it either, Moods?
I've done.
It's got it's got Jake Busey in it, right?
I've seen it.
Yeah, it's
terrible.
Honestly, not. I remember liking it a little bit.
I don't think it was that bad.
See Thomas Howell's in it.
Yeah, Jake Busey is actually a pretty good villain though. So
yeah, because it's yeah. I mean, I thought it was. I think I would like to revisit that because I don't.
Better or worse than Henry 2, Mask of Sanity?
Oh man, I trashed Henry 2. I trashed it.
Honestly, I think it's better than the remake. Hitcher 2 is better than the remake.
Yeah, I would agree, actually. I would agree, too. I think the Hitcher 2 is better than the remake. I think I remember thinking that also.
I think the remake's kind of ass.
Yeah.
I heard it's pretty bad.
I mean, it's definitely not up there with, like, fucking, Prom Night remake and The Fog and not as bad as those ones, but...
I managed to avoid all three of those.
April Fool's Day, that's another really bad one.
The Fog... God. And what was the other one you just said, Moods?
Prom Night.
Actually, I'll take see, the thing
April
with Prom
Fool's
Night
Day
is the first movie sucks. So it's like they're really...
Well, April Fool's Day or Prom Night?
Prom Night.
Prom Night. But the sequel, or I mean the remake, actually, I think is like...
It's PG-13.
Yeah, exactly. And didn't they do that with April Fool's Day?
Though.
I don't know. I
mean, it's bad. I gave it a 5
but if any movie can be PG-13, it's April Fool's Day. I think the original probably should have been PG-13.
No, we're talking about Prom Night.
I know, but he just said that. Like, yeah.
Yeah, I always think of those three movies as being some of the worst remakes of that like time period.
Day of the Dead, dude.
That was another really bad.
Yeah, but see, that Day of the Dead was like not even a big budget movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like these were like theatricals, like those.
April Fool's Day was a big budget movie remake.
Yeah.
It was like theatrical, yeah. Like I think those all got theatricals. It's crazy.
For me, The Fog is the worst one.
Oh, The Fog.
It's so horrible.
It is. It's just like what makes you wonder, man. It's fucked up.
It's like what the hell are they even doing?
I don't know. It's really bad. It's really bad. All right. So synopsis. After their car breaks down in the desert, 4 friends try to find their way back to civilization while trying to escape Rusty Nail's bloody wrath. All right.
This movie's pretty crap.
I like it.
It's pretty shit. Acting's pretty terrible. Character's pretty terrible.
You know what I can't fucking stand is the
Rusty Nail's terrible.
The blonde chick in this movie, man.
She's terrible. She's such a... When she freaked out that one time, I started laughing.
Yeah.
Like, on the side of the road, I started cracking up by myself.
Oh, she's so irritating in this movie.
And that one dude's so over the top, the guy who shows up from MySpace, and he's just like being over. Oh, dude. Like, it was that time. I don't remember who pointed this out recently, but like during this time, they're like, hey, remember where every character has to be an annoying asshole that nobody likes, and you have to spend all this time with them, and they're all going to be mean to each other the entire fucking time till where they grate on your actual nerves?
Yeah, I like that.
I don't.
Yeah. It's just,
like, they do have movies that do a good job of it, like House of Wax from 2005, but like they're not, nobody's really good actor in this. Like, no, it's probably the writing. The dialogue's trash.
To me, this is a cheap sequel. You know what I mean? This is what people talk about when they talk about cheap sequels. It's a cheap sequel that should have been direct to video.
Especially in the makeup of like how the foursome gets together. Like we've got this couple that the point of the thing is they're going to, I think, to Vegas to get married, right?
Yeah.
And the girl has her sister with her, and then she invites her internet boyfriend that I think she's meeting for the first time. Yeah. So he comes along on this road trip, and of course, shit happens. They break down, and
the plot's weird. Like they just fucking steal a car.
Well,
they break into his house, break a window, or all rude, dude.
This is like the most convenient thing ever, though, right? They kind of, if they find this house after they break down, which kind of makes sense. I mean, you break down, you're looking for somewhere to go, and whatever. But the fact of the matter is that they actually steal Rusty Nail's fucking car.
Then they leave a cell phone number, like, we'll return it.
But again, it's the characters trying to be responsive. Hey, we borrowed your car, but they actually.
I mean, at the same time, like, what the hell do you do? I mean, you might have to do that.
They actually did say over and over again that they're not stealing the car; they're actually borrowing. That's why they left a number. So hey, we're going to give it back to you. We just needed to get out of here to get help to get our car fixed. But man, what are the chances of finding a fucking 71 Chevelle? I'd be like, oh my god, boner-tastic.
That seems like something Rusty Nail would have, though.
Well, that's a perfect kind of open road car, man. A Chevelle. Well, not for fuel wise, because you're running your probably 354 or 454, and you're burning a tank of fuel every fucking 6 miles.
I did think that the Goldilocks thing was kind of creative, though.
Yeah, calling him Goldilocks was cool.
Yeah, because it's like first she's like, wait, Goldilocks, and then he's like, yeah, you didn't Goldilocks break into a house, you know what I mean? Like, and it's like, oh yeah, and then like. He knows that she's blonde too, so that's cool. I thought that was neat.
The opening scene
probably the smartest thing in the entire movie. It didn't feel like Rusty Nail.
It didn't feel like Rusty Nail. That's what the problem with the sequels are.
But you know what, Dave? When I saw that, I was like, well, at least we're setting it in stone right now that this is. You know what I mean?
After watching Candyland this year, like it's just such a poorly done like thing with prostitutes in comparison.
Yeah, but you know what? See, like I get it though. Like the beginning of the film, you get this like this hooker being picked up and she gets decapitated and stuff, and kind of sets the standard that this is going to be a little bit more of a gory kind of body count.
Yeah, this is what happens when you put more kills in it.
But at first you're like, yeah, that does seem kind of odd of Rusty Nail. But you got to remember, this is 7 years later, and as the film progresses, like you kind of get this feeling that he's been doing this for like the last 7. If you put the perspective of real time, this is 7 years later. This is what he's been doing, and it's kind of showing you that 7 years has passed, and this is where Rusty Nail is at now. Now he's giving no fucks. He's picking up hookers and killing for the sake of killing them. So I mean, I get it.
Still not the same character, but
definitely not.
We'll go.
It's kind of like Wolf Creek 2, where they kind of like cheesed it up and made it more like gory and gratuitous. But for some reason, for me, Wolf Creek 2 works, probably because John Jarrett is such a good actor and so much better than this.
It's literally just a body count film, man. And there's some awesome parts in Wolf Creek 2. I actually really like Wolf Creek 2.
Wolf Creek 2 is good. This isn't.
Yeah, I wouldn't say this is a good movie. It's got some decent kills. I mean, it's essentially, it's kind of funny because it's got the same genetic makeup as the first film. It's literally these people on a road trip. They get all
it's just bad.
Fucked up with.
It just doesn't have the direction. The director is what made that. The directing and acting and writing is what made that first movie.
Yeah, this one doesn't have that noir kind of dark.
This one is a like literally just a cheap fucking sequel, where it's
a road slasher film.
Where the quality drops so much. I don't think
if you're comparing it to the if you're comparing it to the first film, it's bad.
I kind of have to. I mean, like even if you look at like Leprechaun 2, the quality didn't dip that much.
No, of course not. There's
the quality was already
throughout
so
that
low.
whole fucking franchise. What the hell are you talking about?
The quality's always been low because
this movie had about a $30 million less budget or something like that. So
did it really?
Yeah, the budget is way lower on this.
The first one did so successful. You're going to cut the budget by that much. They're such cheap fucks, dude. They could have made a decent franchise, but they want to nah, we're giving you $500 to make Joyride 2.
So one thing,
well, no, this was intended to be direct to video, but they just happened to put it in theaters and get a little bit of revenue.
Can you imagine if you saw this in theaters? You'd be like, what is happening?
Yeah, but like this was a limited release theatrical film.
I have a little bit of a different perspective on the movie because I don't think I ever noticed this before, and I watched it last time, but maybe I did and I just forgot. But I'm watching this movie and I'm like, man, the setting of this film looks so damn familiar to me. And so there's a scene where they're on the road and they're kind of going into this town and stuff. And I was
filmed in British Columbia.
So I'm like, holy fuck. I'm like, I know exactly. So in British Columbia, man, we have like, when people die in car accidents on the roads and stuff, we put crosses on the side of the road. Like they're BC is literally, you can't even go fucking 10 steps in BC without finding a cross.
Can't even take a poopy on the side.
Yeah,
of
we
the
have
road.
a lot of them out here too.
Yeah,
honestly.
it's
You'd be
crazy.
shitting out a bunch of graves.
Yeah, it's just fucking nuts how many there is. But anyways, so there's a scene that they're kind of going into this town or whatever, and I recognize the cross on the side of the road instantly because it's the one just outside of Cache Creek, and it's always done up. Whoever takes care of that one cross always kind of puts like new flowers and new shit, and it's been there as long as I can even remember, like 30 fucking years, and it's crazy. So I recognize it right away, and I'm like, this is obviously filmed in BC. So I look, yeah, sure, shit, it's Cache Creek.
Is that the real stretch of road, Moodz, where a lot of people got murdered?
No.
In that area?
No, that's like on its way down to Vancouver. That runs right through my town and goes north to south kind of thing.
What's that road called?
Highway of Tears.
Okay. That's the one I was thinking of.
Yeah, no.
This is kind of a take on that, right?
No, the next one is.
Yeah, really.
That's where they talk about the Slaughter Road. I can't remember which.
It's the next one.
Okay.
Do they not bring it up in this one too? Slaughter Alley or whatever? Do they not mention it in this film?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
They literally made a cheap version of Highway of Tears.
Yeah. So anyways, I recognize it right away. I'm like, oh my God. Like I literally drive through Cache Creek all the fucking time. Like it's only about 4 hours from my house. And I was like, okay. So, and then those scenes in it, like kind of in the dune areas and stuff, that's all in Ashcroft, which is just outside of Cache Creek. So I was like, oh, this is kind of cool, man. I recognize fucking everything that's going on in this film. It's pretty cool. So a little bit biased in that sense of location wise, because, you know, there's like a million films that are filmed in BC, and it's just kind of cool to recognize stuff so specific, like that cross. Like it's something I've seen 1,000 times, right? So kind of cool. But anyways, that's doesn't really add to the film being a good movie at all.
Do you guys see the Saw influence in this shit?
Oh, absolutely, making him do shit and stuff.
Yeah. It's like I'm like, holy shit, and I instantly got teleported back to 2008.
It's actually in my notes. That's actually in my notes.
This was so prevalent in like direct-to-video films. Like everyone was trying to be Saw, and the torture, you know, Hostel and Saw.
I just feel like
aspects they weren't in slasher films before this.
No, and I feel like, you know, that was the progression of these type of films and stuff. And it's like, well, how do we write the Rusty Nail character? We can't just have him being kind of vague and doing whatever. We gotta. I mean, the one common theme in all three of these movies is that, you know, Rusty Nail never actually started anything with these people. It's kind of funny how in all the films they did something to him that sets him off, even though we know by this point that he's out there doing shit to people regardless of anything, right?
Right.
But, you know, in this one they obviously steal his car, which, you know, would piss off anybody, especially if it was a 71 Chevelle. Give me a fucking break. But if it was me, I won't lie. If I came across that car and I had the keys, I'd at least take it for a spin, because I'm a huge, I love anything from like 67 to like 72, 73 in that muscle car era. I love my Barracuda, my Dusters and my Chevelles and my fucking GTOs. Those are like my dream cars. I love all those type of cars.
He also pissed him off in the diner.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He followed him. So then he also did that dumb bullshit. Like, if that dude would have done that and I was with him, I would have got up and left. I'd be like, shut the fuck up. I'm leaving.
Oh, dude, 100%. I would be like, bro.
Fucking,
like,
I hate when people do that shit when they're somewhere they don't really belong and they still got to fight.
They disrespect the people who are there.
Yeah, they talk loud enough. They talk loud enough for them to hear you. You're like, oh, I'm fucking better than you. I'm just going to talk shit about you know, all these hicks and stuff. That's not a good idea.
See, in real life, that dude would not be able to do that for long, because somebody would beat his ass.
Right.
You know what I mean? Especially these trucker dudes, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Anybody in general.
Yeah.
Well, most people don't want confrontation. They would just be like, what the fuck?
I mean, all these characters are pretty shitty, though.
I kind of dig the scavenger hunt nature of it. Like, you know, I need a finger and shit.
So that's what I was saying.
You got to go get a finger, and then they go cut a finger off, bro.
But I like the fact that, like, you know, he's that watcher. He's that kind of voyeuristic fucking killer that he's watching you every move and stuff like that. I mean, they wouldn't know that he's keeping that close of an eye on them. So of course you're going to try and like not cut off your own finger, right? You're going to go and cut someone else's finger off and shit like that. But I even have that in my notes. So I'm like, the Saw aspect of this film is so prevalent in there, making him do things, you know, to kind of get to step B, you know, kind of thing. Right. And, you know, of course they fucking exploit that and fuck it up. And then, you know, but you know, the weird thing,
even the dice game is where it gets full blown like Saw.
You know what's one weird thing about this film that I always thought was kind of interesting is the fact that, like, so when the dude gets abducted in this film, it's weird that a guy gets abducted and it's not a girl, right?
Yeah, it is a bit weird, and it's also weird that the bathroom has an exit straight to outside.
Yeah, but then not only does that first guy get like and of course they set up the punk guy too. I actually kind of like when he has to walk through dressed as a woman to go.
That actually might be one of the better scenes in the movie.
It's
Do
just
truckers actually have parties like that?
You know what, dude?
Dude,
I don't know.
I'm gonna call bullshit on that.
You know, I actually when I was a kid, I went on a truck trip with like a trucker.
Was this guy like your dad's friend? What's going on?
It was a guy. It was a guy that my mom was like potentially gonna date.
Was it like some over the top shit? You guys were going to an arm wrestling tournament?
Yeah, no shit. This sounds sketch as fuck, doesn't it?
He literally just was like had a job and asked if we wanted to go with him one time.
He's like,
and
I'm your new dad now, JP.
No, I took Hellraiser on VHS.
Let's get some methamphetamines.
He had a VCR in the back and shit, and I just watched Hellraiser and other VHS on this long ass trip. But
he's like, I like that pen, dude. He cool. Was he a cool guy?
Yeah, no, he's dead now. He was always a cool guy. Even after my mom, he always had a big crush on my mom. He would always like if he would be around, like he would always pull out like $2 out of his wallet and like give me $2 for getting like a B or something on a test. Like he's a nice guy. He clearly trying to like get in with the son so that he maybe had a better shot with the mom, but he was really nice to me.
Yeah.
So did you see any tranny trucker parties? Shouldn't use that term. That was a bad term.
But again, like that whole part is so bizarre too. Like, you know, of course, like he's just fucking with him right there. And you know some shit's gonna happen to him, but he ends up abducting him too. So he eventually ends up in this whole Saw situation with these two guys playing fucking death dice. And I'm like, okay, it's just so weird that the two girls are the ones out on the outside and these two guys are the ones that are being abducted. You just don't see that in film very often, right? Yeah. It's just awkward the way they did it and stuff. But I will say, like, the one sister's death is pretty nasty in this too. I think that's a pretty cool scene. There's some pretty good, and like all these films have a pretty nasty, actually all three of them have Rusty Nail driving through some type of vehicle and exploding it and shit in all three films, like the ice truck in the first one, the car in this one, and then the cop car in the third one.
You know what's weird too is like this one brings up like that truck drivers like do meth and shit. You know what I mean? And then they kind of just roll with the meth. Like
actually, 100% it is true though, man. Because it keeps you going.
Nowadays it's like Adderall. Well,
these guys got to drive like 18 hours, you know, all the time.
Yeah, but now you can't do any of that. You can't do that. They're really strict on like your, you know, your check-in stations and stuff like that. You can't just drive for. Like, because the idea, right, is like the faster you get it, you get paid for the job. So if you can just stay awake and drive forever, then you can get home faster and you still make the same amount of money.
Exactly. Why lay it out to 18 hours when you can be done in 12? You know, it's like.
Yeah, well, and the thing is like that's dangerous though, and these guys would be literally up for like 2 days straight driving. You know what I mean, to try to get done as fast as possible, and that's when accidents happen. So now they have heavy regulations on this.
There is those type of truck stops. Like, of course, this film is done around like the Ashcroft kind of that whole area. There is those truck stops like that. I don't think they get as like crazy like that on the party scene, but those things do exist though. Like where there's like a million truckers in a spot and stuff like that. So, these roads are just fuck, man. If you're traveling anywhere, it's just nonstop rigs. It's nonstop. So makes a little bit of sense. But yeah, so this one right here is like they obviously up the ante gore wise and a little bit on the kill wise. I mean, the first film had 3 kills. This one only technically has 4, but all of them are pretty, you know, they're pretty extravagant. They're a little bit obviously gory. They're all on screen too. You know, so they tried to create a little bit more of a body count in this one, up the gore, up the ante and stuff. It's entertaining. I think it's actually quite entertaining, to be honest. It's not really the greatest film in the world, but then again, you know, we're dealing with kind of the same premise. But
I like I said, when the moment that the first scene happens where the prostitute gets in the truck and it doesn't feel like Rusty Nail, I'm like, okay. At least we're getting it out of the way right now that this is nothing like the first film. And then I was able to enjoy it a little bit more.
And like I said, though, I just chalk it up as like, this is 7 years later. He's made a habit of doing this. And this is where he's at right now. And it's showing us that this is what Rusty Nail's been doing for like the last 7 years. He's been decapitating hookers. It's like, so you just accept it, and then you get introduced to all these kind of very stereotypical type characters, and it's so what, one thing about the movie that really annoys me is when the sister
it looks
and
like ass.
The internet boyfriend, they revert to each other. They revert to each other as their like Facebook names and shit, or their usernames. Bro. I'm like, oh, that's so fucking lame. You know me, I hate that technology shit, man. But like when you're referring to each other as your usernames, I'm like, no, that's not cool, man.
For me, I don't know. Like this movie, like I first started watching it on Neil's Plex. It looked like ass, and then I noticed it was on Dave's Plex. Did you put it on just recently?
Yeah.
Because I swear when I first looked, it wasn't Joyride 2. It's on MB. Dude, that's fucking right. I keep forgetting about MB. That's right.
I watched my DVD.
I might actually have these movies. I don't know. I didn't want to look.
I have the 1 and 3 on disc, but it looks I don't have 2.
To me, it looked like a 2008 DVD. Like it looked like, if it was a Blu-ray, it probably would have just looked a lot clearer, but it just looked like it was 720 fucking.
It seems like very oversaturated to me. I don't know.
Well, maybe it's different than the digital, but I was watching right from the disc, so it wasn't like the worst thing. But I expected it to be a lot lesser quality because I'd watched Joyride on Netflix because I only have the DVD, so I wanted to watch the high def version, which looked pretty good. It looked fine for what it is. I find a lot of those movies from that era kind of look similar. They're hit and miss. But I would like to see what this one looked on Blu-ray because I think it might just be the transfer on the DVD, but.
Wasn't Blu-ray like just coming out in 2008? Was it out?
It'd been out for a couple of years. I think it had just won the battle over HD DVD around 7. Yeah.
HD DVD, bro.
But then Joyride 3 on disc, because I don't have the Blu-ray. I know I saw you had the Blu-ray. The DVD looked fine. Like it didn't look as muddy as the second one, but I imagine the Blu-ray probably looked like. Did you watch the Blu-ray?
Yeah. Who, me?
Yeah.
Of part 3?
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched it.
Okay. Yeah, so the DVD
it looks good.
I thought it looked fine. The DVD looked fine, so a lot better than part 2, but
yeah, $1.88 at Big Lots, bro.
I know that's crazy. I know. I was actually going to buy the third one on Blu-ray one time, and I was like, wait a minute, they only have the first and third one on Blu-rays. I'm like, I can't do this. I can't fucking do this.
Yeah,
it's just that compulsiveness
it is annoying.
Of collecting.
Well, I have the first one on DVD, so
I have all 3 on DVD, and that's why I never bought the first one on Blu-ray because the second one was never on it. And I'm, how our weird minds work and shit.
Yeah.
So I'm just actually quite surprised that they never made a fourth one because we talked about how good Joyride 3 Roadkill did in on the media market. Like it made,
Well, this one made like $4 million in like the first like couple months of it being on DVD.
Yeah. So people liked they were probably Walmart specials and fucking everyone bought them and stuff, but I'm really surprised that but maybe they're gonna make a fourth Joyride. They're about that time, 9
no, you know what
later.
They'll do now is they'll just remake
it.
Yeah,
they'll call it the Joyride.
No, they'll make a prequel and it'll be Rusty Nail's history. Nah, fucking
what? It's 22 years ago.
Yep.
Damn.
You could see them just doing a Rusty Nail movie. Why not?
They'll just make a remake and just a reboot.
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me.
Sometimes I just like sequels. Like at least these ones are called Joyride 2, Joyride 3.
But this time the killer will just go after people in electrical cars. He'll be a truck driver and he's like, "You're trying to kill my job."
You know what's going to happen if they remake this one? The fourth one's going to be called The Joyride.
I already said that.
I think Dave just said that.
Oh, okay. But that's exactly what they would do though, because the just not being clever and shit. Sorry,
I still want to see Boy Ride, the porno version.
You want to see Boy Ride? Yeah.
Boy Ride.
Yeah. So, guys, got anything on Joyride 2? Dead Ahead?
No.
I think I said everything.
What did you say?
I said I like the Saw thing. I said the Goldilocks thing that I liked. I said
I like the name Goldilocks too. It makes sense.
I said the car was cool and that there's a fucking exit to the bathroom straight outside. I said things.
Oh yeah, I like the at the diner when you can hear the song Candy Cane playing. I noticed that when I was watching the movie too. Yeah, you know what? One thing. So I had to look this up. Because I wasn't sure when I was watching the film, and it actually says it in the trivia too, and I was completely right. I have it in my notes. So he's driving the same truck as he was in the first film, like the Peterbilt 359.
Peterbilt.
So at the end of the film, which you notice when you see the truck and stuff going over the edge and shit, fucking, it's a different fucking truck. It's not even a Peterbilt. It's like a totally different. It's like a 379. I don't even think it says Peterbilt even on the front and stuff. So it's just like a totally different truck. Like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. That's stupid. Just little things you notice. I guess they thought we were stupid and weren't going to notice it was a different vehicle.
I didn't.
I did. I think it's also because I see so much rigs and like, I don't know, I kind of like them, man. I've always been into like rigs and shit for some reason, but I just can tell right away it was a different fucking vehicle. But
that one dude who pulls up when she's like out in their underwear, that dude's a fucking dickhead.
Oh, that dude's so weird. I forgot about that guy. He's like, you're crazy.
Yeah, that's kind of a sleazy scene where he like kind of sets her up just to have this like little strip tease.
Yeah.
What the fuck? That's such a weird scene.
Yeah.
But I do like when the truck going over the cliff, that whole thing was actually shot pretty well. I know exactly. That was done in Ashcroft for sure over those cliffs right there.
How the fuck Rusty Nail survive all this shit?
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. Like, it doesn't make sense in the first one either. Like, at all. This one makes even less. Well, the third one completely doesn't make sense.
Rusty Nail's just a ghost.
Because there's no fucking way that he could have ever got, like, he literally was in there and then he wasn't. And he's a big fucking dude. But he's a big dude. Like, how the fuck could you ever sneak out of that? There's no way you could ever get out of that. Right? It would be impossible. There's no fucking way. So, yeah, I mean, this one makes pretty much no sense either. Like, come on. Doesn't make any. They're almost creating like the supernatural element to him. Like, this guy cannot be killed. He's not actually Rusty, is he? Yeah.
How much rust could a Rudchus rud? I can't do it.
No. Yeah, it's the thing with
was
these
a
movies.
Fuzzy Wuzzy was a bear. Fuzzy Wuzzy had no hair. You could do that with Rusty Nail. Rusty Nail. Rusty Wusty. Never mind. I'm done. I'm half asleep right now. I'm on drugs.
I do find it though. Like, they do take like, like how Rusty Nail keeps saying like, what's your favorite game and shit. I kept thinking fucking Ghostface. Like, they take that scream element too, right? They take that whole screen, like, what's your favorite
He's
game?
definitely a rip-off of Jigsaw.
And there's like scream elements in there, and there's Jigsaw elements of the game.
What was that one thing, 13 or whatever, where you have to do a bunch of shit to survive? I mean, it's a very typical thing in this time frame. It's like, I need you to bring me a finger, or you're gonna get killed, or you kill this old lady and you'll get the. It was a weird thing in like this 2000s where they always have the killers call you and make you do shit for them.
You know what?
I do like the finger thing.
All inspired by Die Hard with a Vengeance.
You're right.
The original Jigsaw right there, bro.
Original Jigsaw.
Because really, he's just setting them up because no one's actually going to cut off their finger. They're going to go and do some other shit, right? Come on.
Oh, that was so dumb that she went and got like a dead finger. Bitch, throw that in the microwave.
Dude, I don't know how long does a finger take to get less warm?
Oh, I'll throw it in there for fucking 35 seconds. You'll be all right.
I think if you just threw it on the dash.
Put some fucking nail polish on it.
They're supposed to be going to, I mean, they're somewhere decently warm, I guess. But
just sneak in fucking some like comatose fucking hospital and chop off somebody's finger in a coma. They ain't gonna use it. We got 10 of them.
But overall, man, I think actually the kills in this, like the effect, I mean, that's one thing, again, like even the first film, everything's practical. Well, the little practical effects we get. This one's all practical. All three films just has nothing but practical kills. So I respect that. And there's actual car stunts, which is, again, cool. We get a lot of CG shit like that now. So, but I respect that from low budget filmmaking to do stuff like that. So you.
Oh, me?
Yep.
Yeah, I don't really care for this. I think it's a crappier version. I do like the one scene where he walks. I mean, I'm torn. So I gave it a 3 out of 5 on Letterboxd, but I'm not there. I think the third one's better. I'm not torn at a 5.5 from a 5. I'll just give it a 5.5 because. But then I gave that I Spit on Your Grave remake a 5.5, and I think that's better. I probably would give that a 6 now. I'll give this 5.5.
Dave talking through his thought process.
Wow, that was a lot of thought process for No.
He's like,
I can't break my brain like that.
Like, why did you just thought of that one out of all movies?
Well, I was thinking I gave that kind of a low rating. I think I like it better than this. I think it's a better movie.
I think it's just a fun ass popcorn flick, man, that like has these characters that I really want to die for the most part because they're all pretty stupid and shitty. And, you know, I mean, they meant good in the start, but
the acting's shitty too for the most part.
Yeah, I mean, I will say.
It's just shoddy.
Yeah, I think the best chick was probably the sister that got fucking killed in that brutal car explosion, which is fantastic, by the way. Like when he hits that car, man, that thing explodes. It's fucking gnarly.
It was pretty cool.
It's fucking good, man. It's like, damn, it's powerful. And like I said, all three films has a scene like that, which is kind of like the calling card of joy. I mean, you have to have a rig going through something, right? But I actually kind of like, I don't think it's a good movie by any means. I'm very entertained by this. I had a blast rewatching this, man. 6.5 out of 10 for myself. At least they changed up the character and they made it a little bit blood and gore. I respect that, practical effects, low budget. It's okay for what it is, man. Just like the locations a little bit more than anything, but it is what it is. Buys them.
I'm going to go with a 6.5 out of 10. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, and I think that the punk dude that gets the rebar through the head, that was pretty fucking sweet because he's a piece of shit. Got what he deserved. All right. Anyways, that was Joyride 2 Dead Ahead from 2008. All right, so getting into the third and final film here on episode 239, the Joyride Trilogy, we're going to get into some 2014 action with Joyride 3. Roadkill. All right. Directed by Declan O'Brien. The fuck did this guy do? Oh, he actually died. He actually died in 2022 also. So rest in peace to Declan. What a weird name.
Declan? Is it Declan?
Oh, it is Declan.
Sounds like it should be Declan.
That's how you spell Declan? No, that's weird. I think that's
R.I.P. to a guy we can't even say your name.
I swear that's different. Oh, maybe it is Declan. I'm thinking.
Oh my God. He did like fucking Wrong Turn movies.
Which ones?
All right, so
3, 4, and 5.
Are any of those decent?
No, he did 4 and 5. 4 is actually pretty fun. I like 4. Oh no, he did 3, 4, and 5. Yeah. 3 is the worst one. It's the one. 3 is fucking awful, dude.
Full of awful CG and like everything is so. It's really, really bad. Part 4, I didn't mind the setting because it was the snow one, right?
Yeah, it's a prequel. I like part 4. It's cheap,
I think I've
but
seen
it's
that
fun.
one.
I think I'm one of the only people that actually likes Wrong Turn 5. I remember when it came out and I was like, I don't mind it. And everyone's like, this is the worst movie ever. And I'm like, And it actually,
okay.
It has
I
like
like
truck
6
stop.
as
Doesn't
well.
it take, isn't there like truck stop and stuff in that one too? Like there's a big scene in like a truck stop or
I know they're in a town.
Something like
it's
that.
set on
like,
Halloween.
yes.
I don't even really like part 1.
I love part 1.
I actually like part 2 is my favorite one.
I like 2.
I think 2 is way better than part 1. But that's just me.
It's like goofier, but I like part 2.
I'd give 1 another chance though.
Yeah, I would too. Actually.
Part 1's like a
we've talked
movie.
about doing the Wrong Turn films before on the show. We just never done them because like ever since the remake. Because I think when the remake came out, we were like, well, we should probably do it now because I don't know, maybe they won't make another one. I don't know. So there's what 7? Yeah, there's 7 with the remake. Ooh. So yeah,
do that in 2 sittings.
And I was one of the people that didn't mind part 6. I know a lot of people hated part 6 too.
I like part 6. I actually like all of them but 3 in the remake.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of the remake either. But yeah, part 3 is by far the worst one. It's terrible.
It's actually bad.
Yeah, it's actually like the CG is some of that. It almost seems like it's 1997 CG. It's so bad, right?
Dude, I picture the scene where they're driving in the bus and everything is like green screen outside of the fucking windows.
They don't do that so shit, do
bad.
They? Isn't there a scene in the film where a guy gets split in half and it's literally like this green? It's like it's so fake. You're just like, what? Oh the fuck?
Yeah, the like barbed wire death.
Yeah, man. Oh my God, it's so bad. It's so
that's a Hall of Painter. I couldn't imagine that not making
it's called Maniac Farmer, where like literally they were driving in a car and like they CG'd the back, like green screened the back, and it was so obvious they weren't moving. It was like the worst thing I've ever seen.
Dude, it's really bad and wrong.
I think they double green screened it actually. I think that they green screened the people in the front seat and the people in the back seat weren't there, so they green screened them and then they green screened the background. It was so fucking bad looking.
Dude, for a 20th Century Fox film, like I expect 20th Century Fox, even if it's direct to video, like the shit they do in Wrong Turn 3 is I remember
in part 3?
Yeah. Yeah, bro, it is so bad. I remember my pap was a big fan of the first two, and he bought Wrong Turn 3 for like $20 on DVD at Walmart, like when it first came out, and he was so mad, bro. He was like, "What is this shit,
dude?"
He should have taken it back.
That's a straight hop. That's a straight motherfucking hop right there, man.
Dude,
100%, dude. 100%. But then again, when we do these big franchises, it seems like there's always a Hall of Painter in there.
Yeah.
So, all right, synopsis. A group of hothead street racers on their way to the Road Rally 1000. To the Road Rally 1000, period. Okay. As they drive through desolate shortcuts on the way to the race, a man starts tracking, teasing, and torturing them until the end of the road. Well, he is provoked because these guys have fucking egos and
they ego chowed him.
So basically what we have a like a rally car racing team that is on their way to their big road rally, and they got to drive there. They've got two separate vehicles. Basically, they've got a kind of an SUV driving or pulling a trailer with this car. They decide to kind of take the car out and of course this guy's all pissed off because I guess he'd crashed and he was trying to like prove that he's a better driver than what happened in the past, blah, blah, blah and stuff. So he's on the road and he cuts off Rusty Nail. Bad idea. And then they get into confrontation. People fucking die in horrific ways. This one starts out so damn funny to me because like I never really thought about it until this movie started, but we didn't have any titties or anything. Like there was really no sleaziness in the first two films at all. And then this one opens up with a crackhead fucking riding some dude and we got titties hanging out. Yeah, meth heads, whatever, crackheads. That was all the same shit.
It's not the same.
Whatever. They're fucking drug addicts. Who cares, man?
Listen, I know my drugs, motherfucker.
So it's just like, it's a typical, she's riding him and then she's like, stop, I need another bump. And of course he doesn't have any on him. So they get this bright idea where they're just going to like radio up a truck driver to come to their hotel room so they can they're just going to rob him. It's so fucking
I mean, people think like that when they're high.
Oh, I know,
dude, bro.
Like, it's so funny that's like the first thing that comes to mind. We're just gonna roll somebody, but you think someone's just gonna random like the idea of, you know, I guess it kind of makes sense with the meth and the whole truck driver thing too. Of the times, I guess maybe that was still a thing back in 2014. But they're like, yeah, he might have some meth because that's what they do. They do it to stay up and shit like this. So I guess in the end, the idea wasn't the worst thing in the world. But it doesn't turn out too well for them.
Oh my god, bro! The like, I literally that scene is so stupid to me. It made me it brought this movie down like instantly for me.
What, the kill or the actual them trying to rob him?
So no, the end of the kill, like where they survive the mile, whether he was gonna kill him or not. The chick, dude. Oh my god, bro!
Yeah,
like literally. Bro,
but she was a meth head. She couldn't hang on.
Dude, I don't give a fuck. I know tons of drug addicts, and nobody would do that. That is the dumbest shit I've ever seen. Even if you're,
I don't think they had a choice, bro. I don't think they had a choice.
No. Where she goes to grab the meth after they survive the mile, and it's like, dude, just wait a minute. Like, just wait a minute, bro. Like, it is so unrealistic that somebody would be that want the meth that bad. It just doesn't make sense. It was horrible.
I don't know. I think that drug addicts make
after
poor
the
decisions.
Second one. How can you ever nitpick anything? Like,
I just think that
if you're fine with the second one, you should be fine with this one. It's just as fucking stupid. If not, it's less stupid than the second one.
Whatever. Who cares, man? The
this
end
one's
result,
more stupid.
The end result. Oh man, I love
kills are better though.
I love this movie, man. It's so fucking gory. I had the funniest moment last night. So the wife came downstairs just as the bridge kill happened, and I started laughing so hard. I was like, "You got to check this out!" And I had to rewind it and rewatch it. It was just so fucking. It's just so ridiculously gory.
I love the kills in here because the kills are all incorporated with like something a trucker would use.
Yeah,
so it's fucking really dumb. Like he's like using trucker tools and shit. So this one I think is better. I think it's actually more of a slasher.
I think this one's worse
kills
for me.
Personally. I think it's a better movie.
Oh, this movie's so much damn fun. Like, honestly, man,
I think two's terrible.
It's like when you watch, you know, like Saw films and stuff. Like, you're there for the kills and shit. Like, at this point, we've established we're going to get some kills, and they up the ante again on this film. We went from 4 kills to 6 or 7 in this one. I'm not sure, but they're all like brutally gory and nasty and shit.
Well,
like
he uses like trucker implements, which is what I like.
Yeah, the first kill, he kills 2 people in the same thing. And like the end carnage on that was amazing. And like the bridge kill is fucking fantastic. And like, there's just so much good ones, man. When he hits that cop car, like, fuck, that's another really good practical explosion. That's a good like really just comes out of nowhere too. It's I think it was well done. But again, when you've established that he's basically a fucking, a slasher killer at this point, this is what you expect. I think this movie's fun as hell, man.
Like I said, I do think it's absolutely hilarious that he gets in better and better shape as the series goes on. It's like fat guy, less fat guy. That he's just like this big rip bust up man.
Okay, so in Joyride 3, Rusty Nail's played by Ken Kersinger, who we'd mentioned, who was actually in the second one as a small role. He plays Rusty Nail in this one. And like they totally do it a little bit different. I think it's also because it is the third film. He's not as mysterious as he was in the first one. They show us
he's stealing work from, he just goes, here's this guy's MO. He's just like, I'm gonna pop up in one of these big franchises and then steal the lead role of the killer for the next movie.
Yeah, and then in the second one, they show his face a little bit more. He's a little bit less mysterious. And by this one, it's like you see his face in the first shot in the movie. It's like, okay, well, we're not fucking around here. It's like,
good thing he wasn't in the new Hellraiser. He'd be fucking Pinhead next movie.
Yeah. So, but this isn't the point. This isn't done to be a suspenseful, kind of film noir.
He's actually in Wrong Turn 2 as well.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then this one, it just sets it right up. There's no fucks given with the identity and stuff, and
there's no shadows. He's just walking in broad daylight, hitchhiking, and
it's the Rusty Nail show at this point.
But I like how they try to justify it again, though. It's like this douchebag fucking car racer cuts him off and shit. But I love how all three films, it's like someone else initiated this carnage, kind of thing. So justification, whatever. I like it.
I like how the chick's name is Candy. He's like, I used to know a candy cane once.
Big shout out to the first one. I like those type of things, man. It's fun.
Yeah.
No, this one is, I think it's actually really fun, man. This one makes me laugh because it just gets so over the top. But this is like, I think you kind of expect it to, though, right? Don't you? Like,
I think I readjusted after part 2 because I kind of just expected dumb shit. So I was fine with this one. Part 2, I was like, what is this cheap shit? I mean, I figured it was cheap, but I didn't expect it that cheap.
Yeah, this one actually looks, and it's shot a lot better too than the second one.
It's better cameras because of the time you had more technology. And 2008 was a rough year for cheap movies.
Right,
they all look like shit, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and this is where they
honestly they pulled off quite a bit for a $2 million budget. Honestly,
yeah,
they did a pretty good job.
That's a low budget back then.
I mean, if you're going to incorporate the highway being called Slaughter Alley and stuff, like you better have a result like this. So it kind of fit the means of, this has been going on a long time. A lot of people are going missing on these roads and blah, blah, blah. And then you get all these nasty deaths.
They also watched a couple Rob Zombie movies before this one.
Probably. Yeah. Like the kills are all rejects. But you're right, though. All the kills have to do with the truck or something associated with the truck. Like when he fucking,
trucker,
dude, that guy's hands and then his face, man. I'm just like, bro.
I liked it. That was like a gutter balls kill.
It's so gory, man. It's so gory. You're just like,
who did the effects on this one? I'm curious who did the special effects on this one.
I don't know, man, but they went over the top, which is a good thing too, because I mean, none of these kills were going to be non-bloody, so I don't know.
Not many off-screen kills either in this one, if I remember.
None of them. All the kills.
Yeah, I like this one.
Yeah, this one
better than part 2 for sure.
This one's fun as hell, man. And like I said, it's obviously a bigger body count. You got more potential deaths in this one, and again, when it comes down to the ending of the film, it really doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But I do like where he ends up in that, like, kind of, the junkyard, that compactor and shit like that. It's all pretty cool. And he's back to his Peterbilt, which is kind of cool.
The funny thing about trivia wise, in the UK, the first Joyride was retitled to Roadkill. Mm-hmm. And so this one would be Roadkill 3 Roadkill.
Roadkill makes sense after that first kill, though. Come on, that's like straight roadkill. Yeah,
you guys.
There's a lot of special effects
about this one.
No, I was trying.
There's a lot of special effects artists listed, so it's tough.
Yeah, I was wondering. That's what I was trying to figure out, like who actually did it, because the effects are pretty good, man.
Pretty good.
Yeah, very. I mean, they're all different, bloody as shit.
What's funny is the first one they open up with some nudity, and then this one they're just like, like the first one's all classy. There's no nudity. It's like nothing real sexual. And then like part 2, they're like a little bit. And then part 3 is like, we're just having these 2 drug addicts fuck.
I know, that's what I said, man. The movie
and then she stays
bro.
naked like the entire fucking time too, like during the conversation.
Yeah,
like
they know exactly what
normally they would like, she would throw a shirt on or something in a movie. So yeah, they this one's definitely more gratuitous and exploitive and stuff, which is fun for a slasher. I mean,
it's a direct-to-video sequel,
especially by this point, right? And that is a fair point too. Like a third film in a direct-to-video franchise at this point, like it could have been way fucking worse.
Yeah, but at least they did it properly. Where you kind of want to one up. Like when you make a sequel, you want to make it a little bit maybe bloodier and gorier and stuff like that. Given
that's
the type
the
of film
slasher
it is.
game, right? You
right?
always want to go one up your previous film.
And what they did in this one, I mean, part 2 was one up from part 1 in that aspect, and then part 3 was just outdid them all. If we get a fourth one, maybe we'll get like a fucking 12 body count with crazy
Moodz, but I hate this shit on your dream, but we ain't getting a fourth Joyride, bro.
There's not. It's over.
It's over, dog.
That shit
I know you're hanging on to this Joyride 4 thing, but it ain't happening, dog.
Come on, dude. After this gore fest, man, I'm like, bro, man, this is the one I would.
It's almost been 10 years, dog. They're done.
Joyride 4, 4-door whore. There it goes.
There you go.
Joyride 4, more gore.
Yeah. I just like the it's a fun trilogy because like we got actual practical effects and throughout this whole thing it kind of has the same balance through the whole thing, and I respect that a lot. I mean, it could have been a lot worse, especially in 2008. Definitely could have been. So
we could do Joyride 4, Rusty's World Tour. He goes cross country.
Rusty's revenge.
He leaves the Slaughter Alley. He leaves Slaughter Alley and goes up to the Highway of Tears up in Canada.
Yeah, he goes all across country. He goes everywhere.
Yeah.
He ends up in California.
Alaska, bro. He's gonna be one of those ice road truckers, bro. Those ice road truck drivers, dude. Yeah.
Yeah, where's this actually
crossover
taking place? Like in the beginning of the film, what state is it in? Wyoming?
Dude, the guy at the diner or whatever, the one that's telling him not to go on this road, and then he starts going off about like fucking government and aliens or some shit. No.
He definitely didn't get a COVID vaccine.
Right, like that guy.
I mean, my brother didn't even get one. That guy definitely didn't get one.
Yeah, I don't know where. I'm not sure where they're at first.
Yeah, I'm not. Where'd they film at?
I'm just thinking if it was like
country of origin, Canada, and filming locations, Winnipeg, Manitoba.
No. I know that they filmed in Winnipeg because hence the prairies. It's all flat and shit. It's a Canadian production, but I'm wondering where they set
where
it.
Where it takes place.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be in like Wyoming, like in those areas, which makes it's close to where I live, so it's not very far from here. So I'm just wondering, just about the whole Highway to Tears thing. It's actually wouldn't be that far off to actually get there. But yeah, it's something like that. I can't quite remember, but yeah, this movie actually has a pretty decent pace to it too, man. It kind of gets going and then just never really stops. It's kind of relentless, actually, which I like. This one is just popcorn goodness, man. I definitely like this one the most.
Yeah, this one's the most entertaining.
I don't think there's much to say about it, though.
No, it's just really about
there's
the kills.
There's fun kills. I like that it leaves it open. It's so dumb. He's at the end. He's hitchhiking. He looks almost like so bizarre. He's like 8 foot fucking tall.
You know what makes me laugh?
Goddamn Unabomber or something.
You know what makes me laugh about that scene? I mean, obviously we talked about the end where like there's no way he was getting out of that compactor. But anyways, when he gets picked up when he's hitchhiking and shit, and the guy's like, "Hey, you need a ride, buddy?" You can just tell that dude was some Canadian, probably trucker for real in Winnipeg. And he said, "You need a ride, buddy?" And I was like, "Oh, they just gave it away." Totally Canadian. Fucking hilarious, man.
Rusty lives on.
It does live on, man. But that's kind of the cool thing, man, about this trilogy is that like, they don't go out of their way to be ridiculous with like, he's supernatural and all these. I'm not gonna say what that's from.
No, that's for part 6.
but like he seems to manage to fucking escape unscathed in like some pretty horrific well,
he actually has
which would be death scene.
You just don't see it.
Yeah.
He's teleports.
Blip.
Yeah, so Rusty Nail is he's kind of immortal in a sense.
You know what would have been a good review for part 2? Rusty Nail, more like Rusty Fail.
Shut up.
All right.
It's fun. Whatever. It's not great, but it's entertaining, man. But
I've had enough of fucking Joyride for the rest of my life. So.
Oh man, I actually remember watching when this came out in 4K. I think I even talked about it with you.
Came out in 4K.
No, 14
in 2014, and being like, oh man, I was like, this is the most entertaining one. This is the one I could go back to the most for sure, man. It's just ridiculous. But rewatching it
more
again,
than the first one.
Oh hell yeah.
I'll probably never watch 2 or 3 again. I'll watch 1 again.
I'm gonna watch part 3 again tonight.
No,
Shut up.
I'm gonna make a big ass bowl of popcorn and keep rewinding that fucking that bridge scene, man. Dude, that death is so good. Like the amount of blood that comes out of that's some Asian spray, man. It's amazing.
Yeah, you did talk about this on the show before.
Yeah, man, it was gory, man. It just shocked me because, like, you know, you expect them to kind of up the ante a little bit, but like not like that though. I'm like, damn, they went for it all on screen. You got to.
The weirdest thing is. They make these like every 7 years. It's fucking weird.
I know it's like the most spread out 3-film trilogy I've ever seen.
Was this your pick of the week?
Was it?
I don't know because I don't see it listed unless it was in your quick cut. It was probably in your quick cuts.
Yeah, I did. I know I talked about this, man. I had to have because I was so excited. I was like, damn, man, that's quite the elevation of gore effects. I was like, shit.
The good old days when we did pick of the week.
Yeah, man, we've changed the format of the show so often over the years, man. Bro. It's like
I know we had pick of the week, then we had our own segments, Italian Stallion.
The one thing I don't miss, dude. Yeah, that's the one. I that was the one thing I didn't really care for because we used to like what we watched, and then we review like a whole franchise. We're like, oh my god, there's a lot of movies.
Yeah, dude.
Too many. This format's nice. Intro reviews. Get the fuck out of here. You know, so nice.
Speaking of
which, yeah, I mean, the Joyride ratings? Is that what we're on?
Yep. You're first.
All right. Yeah. So this movie right here is probably the most enjoyable one for myself. I think the first film is by far superiorly made, and it's just superior in all that aspect, suspense and stuff like that. But like as a fun ass film, this one right here, man, the replay value is like through the roof for myself. I'm coming in at about an 8 on this one. I really enjoy this movie, man. I think it's fun as hell. Another third part that I really like. There's something. Well, we just talked shit about wrong turn 3, but there's a lot of part 3s that I love in either franchises or trilogies. Just in part 3, it's crazy.
A lot so you gave it an 8. Originally on episode 23, you gave it a 6.5.
Hey, rating systems change, and like I said, ratings are for dummies. So
you came up in what, almost 10 years?
I was having a blast with this last night because I watched all 3 movies back to back. Well, I watched Joyride, ate dinner, and then I watched 2 and 3 back to back last night.
2 and 3,
and I was just like having I was like, oh, I couldn't like I hadn't watched it since 14, right? So it'd been 9 years. So I wasn't overly remembering all the kills and stuff, and I was like, holy fuck, this thing is just making me laugh, dude. I was having a blast with it, man. It's got more fun.
I actually like the second one more than this. I'm in the minority on that. Yeah, I just didn't give a fuck about this race car thing. I mean, the kills were cool, but I just kind of like the whole like go here and fucking cut a finger off and dress up in a wig. I kind of like that a little bit more than this one, but I'm still not far apart. I think they're about equal. I give this one a 6 out of 10.
All right, so looks like I'm up. Yeah, this one I think is better than 2, but I give it a 6 out of 10. I like it. Would watch this one. I probably would watch this one again, honestly. The second one just bored me. Like it just, I think I was just shocked at its shoddiness compared to the first one. Well, this one I felt like it was a little better, looked a little better, and it was just more fun.
I don't think it was jarring to me. I think that's why I like it a little bit more because I've seen it a couple times. I knew that the quality.
I meant 2 was jarring, not 3. Like,
yeah, no,
the
that's what I'm
quality
saying.
dip in 1 to 2 was pretty bad.
Yeah, from 1 to 2 is that dip is huge, man. I think I've used to it. I've seen it a couple times, so I'm just like whatever.
I expected the dip just because I knew that they were essentially direct to video films and didn't.
I did too, but I didn't expect like the complete like.
It is interesting
disrespect towards the character almost.
this one right here being the third one being so much, it's lower budget than the second one, I believe, and this one it seems like such a bigger film, such a more better made film. Everything about this one just seems better than part 2, which is interesting because
I think the second one they got the voice closer than this one.
I agree. They just gave up on the voice for this one. It's just actually Ken Kurtzgerber like, "Hey, shut up."
Yeah. That's actually something I wanted to mention too. He's actually probably my least favorite of the Rusty
Nails. Mine
Rusty
too.
Nails for sure. But it's at this point it's just I'm just here for the next kill.
Well, he can do the physical stuff too, and he just he's out in the shadows. And he almost looks like a cartoon character. I don't know what is going on. He looks so out of place sometimes.
Wait, wasn't there a Pee-wee's Big Adventure reference in this one?
Yeah, the Marge thing. Yeah. Oh, I have that written down in my notes, and I'm like, I do not want to be friends. I wouldn't be friends with any of these people if they didn't know what Pee-wee's Big Adventure was.
I've never even seen it, and I know what that is.
Oh, for fuck's sakes, JP.
I don't like Pee-wee. I don't understand the appeal of Pee-wee. I really don't.
I just like Pee-wee as a kid. I don't remember it anymore.
You're actually just proving how dumb you are. Because
I'm proving how fucking
I just
dumb
rewatched Pee-wee's Big Adventure just like a couple months back again. I love that movie. It's fucking amazing. So you didn't even get the whole Large Marge thing.
No, I know that scene.
Yes, it is Burton.
I'm the one that referenced it. What do you mean?
No. But I'm saying you've never seen this.
I've seen that scene.
Oh, okay. But anyways, yeah, these kids they're so uncultured. They don't know what Pee-wee's Big Adventure is. Come on. It's fucking Pee-wee, bro.
It's not like they didn't know who Shakespeare was, Moodz.
Oh, fuck Shakespeare. I hate Shakespeare.
It's fucking Pee-wee.
It's fucking Pee-wee.
I would take Pee-wee over Shakespeare any day of the week, man.
I'll take Paul Rubens.
Honestly, the worst class I've ever had to sit through when I was doing my English major was fucking I find Shakespeare so boring, man. It's the most boring shit
the Pee-wee
Romeo
class
and Juliet.
I want the Pee-wee Herman class.
It's boring to me, man. Everything.
Romeo and Juliet's boring.
No. I said
Moodz hates Romeo and Juliet. He just said it.
Romeo and Juliet, I would watch any day of the week. That shit's funny as hell. It's good. But yeah, no, actual Shakespeare stuff, man. I can't stand Romeo and Juliet, man. Ugh.
Me neither. I don't like Shakespeare. Anytime we had to do Shakespeare shit in school, I was like, let's do Edgar Allan Poe again, man.
Yeah, but the thing about Shakespeare is every 90% of stories are based on Shakespeare, so you need to know the fucking stories so you can be like, oh, that's a reference to this and that and that. And this is kind of interesting how they took that story and made it way better, like Romeo and Juliet.
Dude, I fucking hate Shakespeare. I don't care if he created shit.
That's all right.
Yeah. No, it just straight up Shakespeare, man, is just whatever. Does nothing for me.
Same.
This is the only show you'll hear Joyride 3, Shakespeare, and Pee-wee Herman talked about in the same sentence.
I think people need to study Flannery O'Connor more, man. She was an amazing Southern Gothic writer.
I think they need to. Did they do A Good Man Is Hard to Find?
I don't know.
You should know. Who wrote that story? That's one of the most popular stories.
I don't know what that story even is. We read the Diary
by Flannery O'Connor. You just referenced that writer and you don't even know their most popular story.
No, I don't think that's the most popular story.
Oh,
I got a couple books. I don't remember the titles of half the shit I read, man.
That's the only one I know.
Well, the thing is, she wrote a lot of short stories.
Wise Blood. Wise Blood is one that's famous.
Yeah, I'm more familiar with the short story collections that she's all the short stories and shit that she did. I love those things, man. I got a bunch of Flannery stuff, but I don't think I've read her.
Good Man Is Hard to
novels.
Find. It's a pretty short story.
Yeah, I haven't read her actual novels. I really like the short stories, man.
Well, it's a short story. I don't know what the books are called. Important Works, A Circle in the Fire, Catafalque, Wise Blood, The Displaced Person.
It's also been a long time.
Yeah, I read that one story. Good Man Is Hard to Find is a good story.
I remember she died really young too, didn't she? Super young.
I read
You know more about her than me. I only know that one story. She wrote that Mice and Men?
The funny thing is, I actually wrote a paper on her, and I'm just forgetting all the details of it. It's hilarious. But then again, I wrote this like a long time ago, so I can't even fucking remember.
Should have wrote a paper on Pee Wee Herman.
I should have
got an F promptly. He's like, you can't turn this paper in.
Oh yeah, she did.
I don't even know who this Pee Wee is.
Yeah, she died. She was 39 when she died. Crazy. She's younger than me. All right, crazy. Yeah, but she was a cool gothic writer.
She was younger than you when you died?
Younger than
Moodz
me
died
right
last
now.
year.
Whatever, you know what the fuck I mean.
Moodz died last year.
Yeah, I died.
Moodz is dead right now.
Yeah.
Moodz been coasting for the last year. He's been pickled by alcohol. It's the only thing that's been keeping him moving.
Right.
It's just a hologram. Like Tupac.
Well, that was definitely a change of pace to do the Joyride trilogy. Get it out of her system. So
that was your pick. You don't get to pick again for a long time.
No, well, you guys, I checked the fucking thing, and like 90% of the picks on there are you guys. So
no, I don't pick anything.
I didn't pick anything.
I never pick nothing.
Okay, I this makes no sense. How all of us can be like, I never pick a show, but then we do a show like every week. So somebody's obviously picking.
No, here's what happens. Somebody throws something up, and then like we either say okay or we say no, and that's how a show goes. Like if everybody's like, I don't, that sounds okay. It just happens. I don't think anybody really picks any shows.
I did add a couple on there because I noticed.
I had a couple, but
Dave, you wrote 50 States of Horror draft.
I didn't
episode.
write that one.
Oh, okay. Paul Naschy. I'm assuming that was.
I wrote Paul Naschy. I wrote Tubes of the Blind Dead, and I wrote that Dead Men Don't Rape thing.
Yeah, so I added heavy metal horror and the Witchboard trilogy.
Yeah, I'll do those.
Yeah, heavy metal.
I never saw Witchboard 2 or 3.
And I was thinking, I was like, man, we never did a heavy metal horror. And then we could just, stick in that like
heavy
80s realm.
Can we do Black Roses?
Yes, that was one of them, the ones I wanted to do. I mean, Rock and Roll Nightmare would be funny as hell because that has the funniest ending to the of the movie.
Such a bad ending.
Oh my god, movie. The fucking devil.
You can't watch that alone. You have to watch that in a group.
Yeah, me and Dylan last time I watched it we were pissing ourselves laughing. It's so funny. Like Thor is just too serious.
Bub. He keeps calling him Bub. It's fucking so bad.
Fucking Thor, man. Oh my god. So
Shock 'em Dead's funny.
Yeah,
Shock 'em Blood's awful.
Yeah, Shock 'em Dead's actually not bad. Tracy Lord's good in that movie.
Terror on Tour is a piece of shit.
Yeah,
that's
that
1980. That's a piece of shit. Terror on Tour.
Yeah. October Blood needs a decent release. It really does.
What about Hard Rock Nightmare?
Hard Rock Nightmare. That one's cool.
Oh, Hard Rock Zombies too.
Yeah, Hard Rock Zombies.
That's
probably the one. That one's fun because it's got some pretty interesting moments in it. It's such a weird movie.
It's awful, but
there's
I keep watching it.
Things, like the Hitler shit and stuff.
So stupid.
It's so bad, man. It's so stupid. But
I have a poster of that. I have an original poster in my fucking house of that movie hanging up.
Yeah, I mean, even the recent one like Death to Metal would be actually it's fun. I actually really enjoyed it from last year.
Well, you got Deathgasm too.
You got Deathgasm, yeah. You could do multiple. You could do like an all 80s one. You could probably do 2000s one. I don't think there's too many in the 90s. But I guess Shock 'em Dead was from the 90s, right?
Yeah, Shock 'em Dead might have been 91.
I think it was actually.
Or 94. It's one of those two. I know I rewatched it recently for one of those.
Yeah, definitely.
Fucking Aldo Ray's in that fucking movie. That's got to be one of his last movies. He looked fucking drunk as shit.
Right. I know there's like, I guess that's more of a musical too, but
Stage Fright.
Yeah, there's Phantom of the Paradise, which actually kind of is like a.
I would call it heavy metal.
No, I meant it's more of like a
musical.
Musical, yeah, straight up.
I would pair that up with like Rocky Horror and Shock Treatment.
Right. That actually would be a better show.
Oh, we did Rocky Horror already. We could do Phantom of Paradise, Shock Treatment. We already did one musical. We need a third one.
Yeah.
We did Cannibal, Repo, and Rocky Horror. We do Shock Treatment, Phantom of Paradise, and Stage Fright.
Stage Fright would be fun.
All three of those are good.
Stage Fright has some of the funniest songs in it, man. I remember watching it being like, oh my God, it's ridiculous. Good shit.
I gotta get out of here.
There's definitely a couple shows. What time is it? Okay. Yeah. All right. So that is going to conclude episode 239, the Joyride trilogy. Like we said, we'll be back when we're back. I'm not even sure what next show we're going to do. But we'll be back sometime. Check you guys later. Deuces.
See you.
That's all, folks.